Hey everyone, happy Thursday.
There we
There's
go.
not just me. I was like, oh, hey.
I got booted.
Okay, how's it going?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm here.
That's what counts. That's what counts. Unless I'm trying to dual screen so I can see what's going on. But if I play one, it cuts out the other. That's why I got cut off. I'm trying to dual stream on the tab, but if you play one, the other one cuts off. I thought they play at the same time, but no worries, no worries, no worries.
Okay. Yeah.
What's going on in your life?
Unfortunately, a lot of I don't want to be morbid or whatever, but just a lot of death, unfortunately. It's just that I think that time for, family at that age, and it's kind of crazy when you're just in the hustle and bustle of life, and then you're like, oh wow, I just had a ton of major deaths, in the family, and but it is life, and I know it's inevitable, but it's still crazy, just did you have that moment at some point? I mean, I'm past adulthood. I'm 28, I've been an adult, but it's like shit, Did you ever have that moment?
Yeah, but for me, it's not only did I have the moment, but they seem to I'm part of there's like a group. So you have like your uncles and aunties who are like all around the same age. So then slowly but surely they're, and then your parent, like my parent and his friends. And so it's like,
oh my gosh,
it's like a group. And then when you get
right?
those high school alerts saying, hey,
Oh no,
Billy Bob, keep the bucket, it's like, oh, Billy. And then when you're wondering, you think I'll go before you? When you're having those conversations.
Yeah, so I guess I'm at my first round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like, but other than that, still, grateful for life, and there's a lot to, be grateful for and things like that. But how about you? How's everything in your world?
It's going. My world is actually, my world has actually led up to this conversation.
Okay.
As far as, all the beauties of being a man in this world and, dealing with. And when I say that, I don't mean like one gender is better than the other, like women aren't struggling. But I mean very specifically some men issues impending where you are in the world, how they receive it. So like I've been doing a lot of research lately, out of town, out of, hearing stuff and being part of things, being part, but not really being part of. So what I call like the decision making, I'm not part of those teams, but I'm part of like, tell me, I want to hear what's going on. So hearing things and knowing things like, oh, are we really about to do that? And, what do we do to step in? So it's a lot of that kind of that eye-opener stuff when you're finding out like, whoa, things that may sound cool to others, but you either have the inside scoops of like, mental health and what the plans are for that, and then listening to the plans, and it's like, ooh, and then technology, and then, it's a political season now too. So politics.
Yeah.
And that's another whole conversation, another whole like,
Right.
woo. So a lot, I call a lot of stimuli. I've been managing a lot of stimuli, like woo, and just trying to maintain my own. So
That's tiring.
it is. In fact, I'm tired tonight. Woo, but it's tiring. But for me, it's a good tiring. Like, you ever have
Mhm.
pain? Like, if you ever worked out or something where you like what they call
Mhm.
good pain. For
Yep.
me, it sounds weird, but it's a good tiring. Like, whoo, come on, go to bed. Like, go like this.
Right.
The stuff will be going on
Right.
tomorrow. Let it go. Let it go. So
Right.
it's
Right.
a good
Gotta have
tiring,
that. Yeah.
but when you have to make decisions and you have to make choices, that's a different type of tiring. That's that type of exhaustion. I don't know if you ever planned a trip and before you even left, like if you had a lot of things to do, and then even before you left, you were tired.
Mhm.
So like some of these things, I'm tired from. Like, oh man. So
Yeah.
that kind of tired, like, but
Energy.
yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Okay.
So the crowd missed you here last week. They were rooting for you and sending out prayers for you. And
Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you
yep,
guys.
yep. So just so you
Miss you
know,
all. Miss you
yep.
all. Hate to miss you guys, but it's
hmm
been a season. It has been a season. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome to
I'm happy to be here.
2024. You can say
I
it's a new
know.
season, new year, and new plans, new. That's what we talked about last week. We were talking about the reality of some people were like, "This is a new year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen." How are you going to? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Can you hear all that background noise? Sorry. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good though.
How are you going to make it happen? A lot of you're repeating the same behaviors. You haven't. Some people are going to move. Right? Well, if you move to Alaska, you take you with you to Alaska. So a lot of people, they chime in on that, like that train that's coming through town. They jump on that train. Oh, it's the New Year
Mhm.
train, and I'm going to make change, and this is the year.
Mhm.
What are you doing to make that change happen? Nothing. I mean, shit.
You're right.
So,
It just
but
is.
anyway, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Let's welcome some folks to the network. Well, hello everyone. Hello, if you're here live or on the replay. Welcome to the Blackman Unfiltered Network. I am Dr. Nakumbe. This is Coach K. We are here tonight every Thursday with Breaking the Cycle. I really wanted to get into mental health and help bust up some of the myths about what mental health is, what mental health is not. Sometimes we'll talk about social things that are going on in society, cultural things, psychological things, coaching things, healing, wellness, you name it. We'll dabble in it. We won't
Mhm.
have the full entertaining piece as far as like the drama behind it, because we'll
Right.
we'll probably want to get more into how did they get to that spot? How did they get to that point? How come they're using that type of energy? How come they're not engaging in this type of behavior? How come they are engaging in that type of behavior? What can they do to break that cycle? So that's really what
Mhm.
we are about. Sometimes we have people come up, sometimes we don't. Very, very, we intend to be very thought provoking. And from time to time, we might even lead to people feeling some kind of way. What that new word is called with a big T, the trigger word. So every once in a while, you
Um,
might feel triggered. That's not our intent. But at the same time, what's unique about this network is all the shows were really unapologetic about what we bring to you, the listener.
mhm.
So Coach K and I were not here to prescribe, but we will describe some things for you, give you definition, give you understanding, offer some tips, solutions, the best that we can. If you really want to maximize the message or the work that you're doing, please feel free to contact Coach K for coaching sessions, or you can contact me for counseling sessions. If you're out of state, then I also do coaching. So in case you want to do coaching work, we can. With the state stuff, if you're in Minnesota, we can do therapy. So that's the difference. But again, if you want to go deeper and have more at length conversations or more individual conversations about what we're talking about, please hit us up so we can work with you. We're also thinking about putting together a members section here, where for those who want to get deep, who are not worried about being triggered or just here for the entertainment, We can have deeper conversations, but that will be part of a membership here at the Blackman Unfiltered Network. So that's something we have to talk about in the future. How do you become a member? Not just a regular membership for the network, but how do you become Dr. Nakumbe, Coach K, Blackman Unfiltered membership for these type of conversations? And we can do stuff like like a topic per month, a topic per trimester, different things like that, where we can really get deeper and have more solution content. So please keep that in
Yeah.
mind that we are talking about that and putting that together.
Sounds good. It's some top
Mhm.
level care,
Yeah,
but also just work for sure.
absolutely.
So,
Because, Coach, sometimes people hear us, and if they put a message in, and I know I've done this too, I don't know if you've experienced it, where maybe you have like a legit question, you put it in the chat, but if
mhm,
there's dialogue going on, your question kind of gets
mhm.
lost in the shuffle,
Yeah.
or the conversation shifts just naturally because
Yes.
whatever they're talking about. So it's like, ooh, we say more about this and more about that. And I'm pretty sure you experienced, Coach, where people come up and they want that one magic answer. Like, okay, well,
Mhm.
how do you do so and so? Tell me that piece. It's like, oh, it doesn't quite work like that. But
Right.
please, let's that membership. We smaller group, and then it is an investment because you are investing your time and your growth, and we are investing our time. But it's meant for people who want to actually engage in those conversations and enhance their skill sets. Okay, so that's
Absolutely.
that's what I'm excited about, because there are a few people out here on these streets that are like, I really want to do better, know better. So I look forward to that
Yeah, we're
opportunity.
here. We're here for
Mhm.
you guys. Sounds
Tonight's
good.
topic. I was gonna say, give some shout outs. We have Black Man Unfiltered running the station for us. Thank you, sir. Building the network for us, and then we have
Yeah.
CBN running the channels and pressing all the buttons from behind. Huh. Running the channels and pressing
Yeah.
the buttons and networks. All right. Welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Tonight we have CBN as our tech engineer, pushing the buttons, which sounds
Yeah. Yeah.
simple, but he's keeping all this together, making it happen for us. So thank you. Shout out to CBN.
Yes. Thank you.
If you are just now getting here, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you're listening to the replay, please do hit the like button. If you have not subscribed yet, there are people coming through who have not subscribed. If you like our content or what the network has to offer, check out the other shows. And if you're feeling the vibe, please do subscribe. We look forward to building the network and being part of something special, having you be with us. So, that
Hey,
being said,
Marcus.
we have Marcus Evans. Hey, what's up? Glad to see you here. Thanks for swinging through. And when his name popped up, I don't know if you see it, Coach. It looks like we have a purple rain. Do you see the movie Purple Rain with Prince? At the
No,
bottom of our
I've
in the
heard
stu
it, but
Oh,
the
really?
song.
Oh, yeah, Purple Rain? Yeah. At the bottom of the studio picture, we're in that purple. Oh, and the thing too, we're that purple. Anyway, they just look like the
No,
Purple Rain.
I
So
can't see it. Oh, wait, like behind
our
us?
name, where it says breaking the cycle, it just
Oh,
has
yeah,
like a little
yeah, yeah.
purplish look, and I just
Yeah, yeah,
automatically
yeah.
thought of, because
My
Marcus's
screen is
picture
hard.
popped up there, and I thought of him as, oh, look, Prince is
Mm.
up there. Yeah.
No. You're fine.
Because
I'm
of the
sorry. I
purple.
ruined
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I ruined it.
yeah. Yeah. All right, listen, tonight's topic. Um, I know we've had serious conversations, but tonight I'm going to say tonight's one of those serious conversations, although I'm sure there'll be some humor and some whatever we do. But tonight's topic is the impact of harmful narratives, the impact of harmful narratives, and breaking that cycle, breaking that narrative, the impact of it. So we want to bust that up. And that's going to impact people's identities. So it's going to
Mm.
impact people's identities. And that's a very fragile space to go. Very fragile space to go. And what I mean by identities, I'm not talking about like uh, gender or sex identity or something like that.
Like
I'm talking about,
classifications,
yeah, I'm not
not
talking
those.
classifications. I like that. Thank you. I'm talking about the who
Sense of
you
self,
are,
maybe?
who you've grown to be, who you believe to be, your
Mm.
identity, your purpose in life, your understanding of self, family, all of that. Because that's what gets shaken up Like if a person loses their job, they've been there 10 years, 20 years, they get sick, heck, they retire. I don't know if you ever hear old people retire. Oh, maybe young people too, but you ever hear people retiring
Yep.
and like no purpose in life? It's
Yeah.
just, or they work. And it's like, come on, parents and grandparents, and you're old now. Stop all that. You're retired. And they have to stay busy. Like their purpose in life has always been about staying busy, being
Mhm.
active. And now this new identity, this new retired life, I, I don't know
Yep.
how to do it. Some people don't know how to do it successfully.
Right. Yeah,
It's,
I have heard that. Or even people
mhm.
who their identity is like wrapped up in, let's say, something physical. Let's say they whether they're maybe they're a soldier or even they run marathons or whatever, and they have an injury that cannot be, on, they can't come back from. They're like,
Yes,
what do I do now?
yes, yes. Life is not the same. Like
Mhm.
and even like when I have an injury that I'm permanently disabled, but if I still have mind, like I still have my mind that says I can do, minus the physical activities, even if I'm just a cheerleader, even if I'm just doing whatever I need to be part of that. That's all I've
Mhm.
ever known. Great
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that's a
Great point.
big one.
hmm So what I want to talk about tonight is the fact that all of the recent changes. Now you can go 5 years, you can go 3 years. It's been in the making. It's really been for a while. I mean, I want to say maybe even 10 years, and some will even say longer. I've not really researched about the length of time, but the actual impact of what's been going on. And I don't know how much you hear in the YouTube streets, Coach K, where they talk about the boomers and the different
Mhm.
generations, and now because of this generation that caused this generation problems and that. Um, but this is not even that conversation either. I'm a humanist. I mean, I don't know if that's even the word. I'm right down the middle. I don't. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with DBT?
Yeah.
So I'm certified in DBT, and for those who don't know, diabioelectrical therapy is really about you're right down the middle. It's both things can be true,
Mhm.
right? Both things can be true. Uh, I don't know if I'm the smartest, and they might not hire me. It might be true. I don't know if you are the smartest, and that place might not hire you. But how can you flip that around? Because if you were the smartest or not the smartest, that's not why they're going to hire you or not. So,
Right.
well, okay, I am smart, true. So then they should hire me, but that doesn't mean they will. And both can be true. So you are smart, and they still might not hire you, and that's okay.
Mm.
And so,
Mm.
so I've been a practitioner of this for so long that even I use it in my life where why politics, you're either this side or that side. Now that's a little bit more like you really want to make sure you play a role in active politics. I'm not saying I don't
Mhm.
care about politics, but at the end of the day, whoever it is, they're going to be my president too, so to speak, whoever it is.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
I can again participate. I will participate in who I hope for and who I want, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day. So my point in saying that is I'm I'm thinking about the people who've been impacted who they've not participated in any of the, I'm gonna call it foolery. They haven't participated in any of the foolery, but they've been impacted by it.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
now I'm gonna throw myself in here just as one of the people who've been impacted, and it's kind of a vicious cycle. Let me move this can's gonna make some noise in a second.
No problem.
All right. So it's a vicious cycle. If so someone like me, so I'm gonna use me as an example, but it's not about me per se, but I am in this conversation, I'm involved in it.
Okay.
So you take someone who's you say, oh, they're nice this and they're nice that, and they do this and they do that. I say, yeah, but where does the niceness come from? Does every nice person have a motive? That's for debate. I don't know if they're people just nice in general, but that's for debate. If you are, you are. If not, you're not. In my case, I have no problem being transparent that yes, for decades I believed that had a huge heart. No, it was true. It had a huge heart. That song, We Are the World, came out. We are the world. We are the children. Yeah, I was into it. But
Mhm.
what I found out over time, the opposite of a big heart, I'll say, is a closed heart. The opposite of giving back was not having enough. So I'm from New York City. We lived in the
Mhm.
Bronx where we would wire, or we wouldn't touch it, but the wiring, our electricity was because we were borrowing it off of the wires that were run through the abandoned buildings. Okay. So 1420 Washington Avenue, all those projects and over there. Now the projects had their own electricity. We stayed in the project and we stayed across the street. PS 110, all these schools and stuff that I went to. So New York. And my first book, it's called The First 25. I write in there where sleeping on the concrete in these abandoned buildings, that was my sleep number. So actually sleeping on the concrete, like the mattress, the sleep number mattress, you'll learn how to make a concrete slab feel soft if you're out there.
Mhm.
You'll know how to do it. My imagination ran wild. I didn't have a bunch of friends, not because I didn't have friends, but you stayed outside until it was dark, but then you were in, and then boom. And then when I stayed down south, we were outside and all in the woods and the thickets and grasshoppers and stuff like that. But in New York, I remember like taking little straws, and we used to have no, we don't have bottle caps, but the bottle caps that go on top of sodas, the little like whatever color they are, the bottle caps, put wax in
Mhm.
there. In the milk carton, the milk caps, put vanilla,
Mhm.
put wax in there or like Vaseline or whatever, make it just, and then you could play Planko with it. We had the wildest imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination.
Yeah.
Then if you live a life where you experience some type of trauma, and I know that's the buzzword, but if you live and you experience some type of trauma, a loss, a death in the family, a move, a transition from schools, anywhere where there's a shift in your friends. Now I come from a home where mama was doing what they say the best that she knew how to do. Regular standards, they say, yeah, she was doing too much, especially when she was doing it when she was high. But because she treated me the way she treated me, I am now the person that I am, period. Because I was treated that way, I am now the person that I am. And if you think about it as far as, well, so there was a rough childhood in the beginning, if you consider it rough. Each person has their own story. Some are rougher than the others. Cool. And then you had this part where you wonder if it was your fault and if you're good enough and if you should even be around. Should I even be around? Okay. So I have
Mhm.
my 6 times of questioning, should I be around? 6 times
Mhm.
should I be around? Closest I got was to being in the hospital 3 or 4, 2 days, trying to figure out if I should be around.
I
And then when
capture
you
that.
survive, well, for me, I survived one of those. I'm like, whew, because my sisters, hopefully one day I get to see my sisters. Remember, there's a 42-year gap
Yeah.
between me seeing my sisters. So each time I'll try and
Mhm.
figure out if I should be around, it's like, oh, thank you. 'Cause I still get to try and find my sisters. Now let me
Mm.
speed that up. So you become this individual that's really about giving back to the world. And you've learned to accept other people. So I'm from New York, where I consider it the melting pot. It was Puerto Rican, Dominican Republican, Spanish Harlem, blacks, whites, uh, you name it. I went to school
Mhm.
where it had a good mix, Chinese, Japanese. Now, when you get closer to Harlem, I'm off 155th, Harlem 125th. You still get more of that Spanish Harlem, more black, whatever. So
Mhm.
you learn how to get along with everyone. Period.
Mhm.
You learn, or you don't survive.
Right.
So you have this skill set. You become this person that you become, and then you're giving back because again, it's usually the reverse. So those who had those rough childhoods, they're looking for love. They're looking for intimacy. They're looking for connection, to feel rooted, to feel heard, to feel acknowledged, to feel validated. Okay. So acceptance. So boom, not knowing, but I'm doing stuff that leads to feeling a sense of purpose. I'm doing stuff that leads to feeling like maybe I do matter. Maybe I can make a difference. I'm doing stuff so no other kid has to experience what I experienced. I can't save all the kids in the world, but man, I just want to do for as many kids as possible so they don't have to experience what I experienced. After a while, I realized, well, it's not the kids acting up. What I experienced wasn't from me acting up. So I was like, oh, I got to work with the parents. I got to work. I got the parents. If I want another kid to survive, it's the people taking care of them.
Right.
So I started working with them. Anyway, speed it up,
Helping.
speed it up, speed it up. In our modern day, and this is to all the when I'm talking about the men who have not subscribed to adding chaos to the world, the men who have
Mhm.
not subscribed to intentionally hurting people in the world, the men who have subscribed to make sure that from the time they were born or what are able to do something that they helped to protect. So, mom, what can I do around the house? Well, how can I help? For me, you'd have to do a lot of teaching. Now, also, I don't want to insult intelligence. I'm in foster homes. So part of my doing was like that's my earning my stay. Okay.
Mm.
But at a certain age, 8, 9, 10, you have to tell me to clean up. You see, my last foster mom, we didn't get up opening gifts on Christmas. That house, we opened up around 1 p.m. because we had to do the chores. Everything the house had to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So you give back. You don't participate in some of the chaos because you have choices. Now, I hung around. I'm one of those like people who can be on either side of the town. I could be on the side of the town where they wear red or where they wear blue. And they're like, oh, that's Nakumbe. What's up? Because I was a rapper, comedian, silly, and I was accepted. Though at the same time,
Right.
I knew the boundaries though. I knew the boundaries
Right.
because I can go anywhere, but if I'm not validating, if I'm not respecting. Right? Because I can come on your turf, but if I come with some craziness, it's a wrap.
Right.
So you have
Right.
to know the boundaries. You have to know how to respect. You have to know how to honor. I got on all the color I want, but while you're over here, this is your color now. This is what we do over here. So I grew up in the hip hop era. I didn't do graffiti, but the guys who would do it, because I was the rapper, beatboxer, try and do a little breakdancing, but I almost broke my body trying to do that. But beatboxing, rapping, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't doing graffiti, but like we used to wear the jackets, the rapper jackets where they sprayed and did all the graffiti, and I was the lookout person. So you go do a
Mm.
certain tat or whatever, and I'm the kind of the one to look out guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my give back.
Right.
So I did go through a stage where I was angry with women, angry
Mm.
because I have my mom who,
Right.
you build hostility towards people who's treating you this way. Then my little
Right.
sisters who sometimes they were just bratty. And they had some female teachers who I'm like, ugh. So woman after woman after woman. Found out my
Mhm.
grandma pulled a Precious, the movie Precious. My grandma, when she found out that my dad is my stepdad, my dad is my mom's stepdad, grandma's man. When grandma found out it was her man, she didn't say, oh, daughter, how can I support you? She said, oh, okay. So you took my man, I'm going to take yours. So grandma put me in a foster home. Now, when you hear this stuff, it's like, oh man, grandma was mean, but that's another female, another female, another female. So I'm just evil, like just
Wait,
evil.
so your dad is your mom's wait.
My dad is was my grandma's boyfriend
Oh.
and my mama's boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was 12
Wait.
and
Okay,
they
I
had a
don't know if I
friendship.
okay, I
So
don't wanna, like, obviously intrude, so okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Keep
No, that's
going,
cool.
though.
Yeah.
Woo!
Um,
Jeez, Dr. Covey.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I used to think I was special in that, but there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people. Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
So back about women, though. Oh
Yeah, so then
gosh.
I was just angry with them. I'm like, they all deserve to get what they get. Uh, period. They just. But then then I realized, because then I used to work with um, prostitutes. I used to try and figure out how can I, because when I switched from, well, it's not really the kids, it's the parents. And if I look at my mom's life, my mom has been arrested 19 times, 19
Mhm.
times. And I didn't know it as a kid. I didn't know it as a kid. I didn't know that time when I was 6 years old and I finally mustered up the courage to call 911. And it was a New
Mm.
York payphone. You had to get out and you go in a little booth. Remember the old Superman, go in the booth and close the door? Cuckoosh. There's one of them
Mhm.
booths, and I down 911 rotary phone. And I mustered up the
Mhm.
courage. It's busting my head all out. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna make it. When the police officers came, and the two officers, and they went in the room with my mom, and then I was like, oh, they saved me. Woo, these folks done come to save me. And I don't know what to do because I was raised with what happens at home stays at home. You don't tell no white people, they're gonna bust up your family. You don't do this, you don't do that. And two bright white officers came up in there and said, oh, Lord, they saved me. Man, them dudes came out and I didn't know what adjusting the duty belts and stuff. I didn't know, but they adjusting their duty belts and pulling up the zippers. And then pat me on the head and told me, oh, be a good kid, man. Listen to your mama.
This
Are
is
y'all not
insane.
taking me with? Uh, and I
Damn.
paid. I paid. I mean, I'm here to talk about it, so I didn't pay
I
that much, but
bet
I
I
paid.
I
I
bet you did
paid.
though.
Yeah. But when I found out my mom had 19 arrests, I was like, oh, that's how we were paying the rent. Oh, that's how. Okay. Okay. So in my mind, women are trash. But
Right.
wait. What did my mom tell me? My dad, who I had never met, my dad, he, and back then, grandparents were real grandparents. You're like, I mean, not real, but old. I mean, well, not 50 is
Right.
not old, but they were 50 and 60. So I'm not talking about like now
There
where you
was
could be 25 and be a grandma. Yeah.
right,
I mean,
right.
like,
There was some
right.
time between yeah.
Yes. So when she was 12, he had to be like in his 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s. She's 12. So in my mind, like, oh, when I figured it out, he played her. Now she said they had like a year goofing around, a year, full year. Wasn't no one time going to the room, but she's 12. What is she really doing? Before I learned psychology stuff, I found out, like, well, oh, wait. So you mean she was going through some hormonal stuff and teasing him and all that, but not teasing him like she was teasing him, but going through it and he's just taking advantage of it, took advantage of her. Like, so
Right,
dude was a
right.
perp. So my dad was a perp. And then I started putting it all together, like 19
Mhm.
arrests and some officers, and none of them said, hey, can we help you?
Right. So then it switched.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, no, it's the dudes.
Mhm.
It's the dudes. So then that's when I started working. There's a program here called Whisper in Minnesota. Whisper with the lady street walkers and all the street workers and all that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going out there giving them bottles of water and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
I was young and dumb. I was out there giving. There was
Still giving though. I mean,
yeah.
side
They were
note,
laughing
still
at me. They were
giving
like, dude.
though.
Yeah, I mean, I was young. I was 19 out there, and I was giving out bottles of water. And they're like, "What the?" But there were some hot spots out there, and I'm like, "No. I know y'all go through a lot." And it was really in
But
honor of my mom.
still
That's what
though,
that was my first
yeah.
thought was, this is in honor of my mom because I wish at least one dude would have gave her some water. I mean, I'm sure they
Oh,
gave her something,
yeah.
but I was thinking, man, if one of them, 19 arrests, if one of them would have at least given her. So now I'm not stopping no dudes from doing what they're doing, but I would be like, wow, that's the best you can do. And for whatever reason, I just took off from there, making sure I would do what I can do to honor women.
Right,
Then for my sisters, in the name of my sisters, because I felt like I'll
right.
never see them, I'll never, in honor of them, in honor of my mom, boom, in honor of women. So now let me get even deeper. So then now we have these last 5 years where
Mm,
men who've only known themselves to be men. And what were they raised? Who taught a man to be a man? And I'm not going to debate what a man is or how a man is or what type of man am I talking about? A man that grew up within the last 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, he knew that he was raised to protect, to secure, to hunt and gather, to be the lead, all
mhm.
these things. Regardless if it was,
Right.
I should say, regardless if it was wrong or right, it was what it was.
Yeah.
Period. It was what, there was no choice. You weren't born and there was an application process. You didn't
Right.
get to pick what type of man you wanted to be. Now you have some DNA stuff, and you could do some changes to you. You know, I can shave my head, I can do some different things and make some changes. But what a man was. So the guy on the corner store selling newspapers, when I go up to get a newspaper, I get one for my mama, I get one for the 80-year-old neighbor, I get one for the person downstairs, because I just did that as a young man doing the paper route. That's what
Right.
a boy did as a teenager, doing a paper route, doing going downtown or on the subway 72nd and Plaza. Can't even think of the word, but Plaza, whatever it was in New York. Go down to the train station, and I'm down there just talking and listening to the guys shining shoes. They shining shoes, and I'm there just talking for hours, listening to old men talk, listening
Yeah.
to old men about what it is to be a man, what it is to be a man, what it is to be a man. They had a place called the Boys Harbor. It was like our boys, or our, I don't know if you have it. It's like the Minnesota version of Boys and Girls Club, but in New York it was called a
Yeah.
Boys Harbor.
We're
Um,
boys and girls club, yeah.
yeah, well, okay. I used to go down there. You know, that was my little hangout spot too. But still listening to the older cats who were playing basketball and what it is to be a man, and what it is to be a man, and what it is to be a man, what it is to
Mhm.
be a black man, what it is to be
Mhm.
the only, because in I'm oldest of my sisters, but they're gone, so I'm really like a single kid. In the foster homes that I was going in, I was the foster brother. And at first I used to be
Mhm.
mean to those kids too, because I get a toy, because I ain't have toys in my mama. I get a toy, you couldn't get it in my hand. And it'd be like, oh, can we come out here? No. You know,
Right,
get
right.
your own car. Oh, I was mean. And I'll never forget Mrs. Bailey. Mrs. Bailey, shout out to you, bless her soul. Mrs. Bailey said, oh, don't you worry about it. We'll take care of you at Christmas time. I was like, well, shit, it's June now. Good luck to you guys.
Right. Right, like, "I'm not touching this."
And man, that
Oh,
Christmas, they call every knucklehead but me. Kenny, Tay-Tay, Kenny, Tay-Tay, Octavia, Coco, Kenny, Tay-Tay, Kenny. Woo! And then that one gift I got was a damn sweater.
are you
Mm,
serious
mm.
right now?
Oh,
I can't
I am
take
not
any of
kidding.
this.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But it was a learning experience of my life. Like,
Yeah.
what? And I wanted to play with the toys. They were like, no. She was like, no, don't touch me. You have your own. I'm like, my stuff's beat up and raggedy. She's like, you have your own.
Mm.
Now, coach, do you know what that's called? Today,
What? Which part?
shaming.
Like, oh,
You only get that kid one gift. You embarrass them in front of everyone else. That's called shaming today. And people took the narrative and changed the narrative and said, you are now injuring that kid. Now I'm weird. I'll be first to admit I'm a lot on the weird side, but I didn't get damaged. And in fact, coach, in fact, you know what I'm doing during Christmas? I'm out there looking for the kids who don't have gifts.
right, yeah.
I'm out there every Christmas playing Secret Santa.
I know you are.
It's my feel good. So I don't want to pretend like I'm, like, it's my feel good. But if I was so
I know it
damaged,
is.
why am I out there robbing people for the toys and stuff?
Or, like, still pissed about how you didn't, or, like, thinking about it every,
Yeah,
Christmas.
every Christmas up there mad
Or
and stuff.
finding Mrs. Bailey or
Yeah,
whatever.
huh? Cursing her. Man, please.
Yeah.
That's my mama. That's my Mrs. Bailey. Ooh, she saved my life. She said, this can be your last foster home. I'm like, okay. But I kept my bag with me always. I'm like, yeah, because I'm ready for my social worker to come get me. And she had lupus. And when she gets sick, she would never call the agency. She sent me to her sisters and Mr. Phil, my story, Mr. Phil's story and all that stuff. She kept her word. Now I ended up getting adopted, but she kept her word. I had to go to because they kept trying to send me to homes, and I sabotaged it. I go in there and piss all over the bed. Why are you so nasty? Because I'm a nasty man. But I go in just because I want to sound like, no, I'm not
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to. And it wasn't
Right.
her choice. She was married when she first took me in, Mr. Bill. but then he passed of a heart attack. So she kept me for a long time.
Mm.
I found out years later, because I did always wonder, like, how come she didn't adopt me? But she said she wanted me to have a father. She wanted me to have a mom and a dad. So I was like, oh, well,
Mm.
why didn't you just say that? Like,
Right.
right? But I mean, she
You
wouldn't
probably
have
thought it
said
was
it.
you.
Yeah.
You probably
So
thought it
she,
was
yeah, I found out from my,
you.
huh?
Because you probably
And I found
thought
out from,
maybe at the time you thought it was you.
oh, yeah. Right. I'm like, because I was the oldest foster kid, but then we had a little family formed. I mean, we had like the
Mhm.
mother foster brothers and sisters. My mom bringing folks in, and they cutting up and supposed to get in trouble, and she's like, no. I mean, we had our own consequences at home. uh, but anyway, Mrs. Bailey, that's my mama. So these narratives. So one, we're going to take this lesson that I learned and now try and convince me that I was shamed. And when I say
Mm.
try and convince me, because now I'm an adult and someone wants to try and convince me, or we try and convince others that you are shaming because you use a particular style to hold someone accountable. She used a style to hold me accountable. And there was nowhere written that anyone owed me any gifts. Christmas is about giving and love and all that. And I don't know the full Jesus story, but Santa, I don't know Santa out in Israel. I don't know that. So I don't want to pretend to know.
No,
That's
it's
not my
not.
specialty. But I've
Right.
never seen the sled going on that side of the world. And so, but show you how crazy I was. This is a true story too. So 6th grade, PS 28. So I was on a medicine called Thorazine. All right. So because I was, now they call it ADHD, but we didn't, I ain't had no ADHD. I had MOUSE, sit your ass down. But my mom, I'll be giving her the business. And she pick up that
Right.
phone, Miss Veronica, you have some time? And I don't know what it was about Miss Veronica, scared the shit out of me, but Miss Veronica come over. Give me that damn bottle, to give me a spoon of Thorazine. But give me,
Oh my gosh.
but Miss Veronica scared the shit out of me. But that's another thing. She could rely on the neighbor, Miss Veronica, would come over. And all she would do was look at me. I don't know what it was, but man, that woman scared the shit out of me. But you can call the neighbor. Say, well, one of the times my mom was in the hospital and I was in the glee club at the school. And singing songs. We go down to the Rockefeller Center and sing songs. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, then a penny will do. We were down there jamming, boy. Woo! And I stole all the damn Glee Club money. We were selling stationery and all that. Stole all that Glee Club money. Went to a store. I want to say it was called Stationery. It was on West Broadway, like 157th. It was somebody's stationery. And I went in that store and just spent every penny. Came home, 2 big, huge bags of gifts. Every kid I could think of in the classroom. I had checkerboards. I had this and that and that. And I went to Miss Veronica's house. Hey,
Oh God. Oh gosh.
I had to bring all that shit back. And
Oh
Miss
shit.
Veronica took me to school. I had to turn all that stuff. I had to make an announcement to the Glee Club. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. But all I pictured was, I saw that money, and
Right.
I didn't think New York hot dog. I didn't think a slice of pizza or Jamaican bean pie. I thought, oh, Charlie, he got them scuffed up Buster Browns. I'm gonna get him. Look at them pair of skips over there. You
Right.
got busted up skips. And on these be these shoes called jelly shoes. I don't know if you know about that. They think
They
now
ca- they
they're
came
like
back,
sandals.
didn't they?
They probably did, but yeah, we had jelly shoes.
They're like see-through
Um,
almost, but
yeah,
they're
see through. I had the clear
uh,
kind. I had the
is it
blue. I had blue and the clear. I
I
told my mom, I was
love
like, come on.
I love those.
Yeah, I told my mom, these was like little girl shoes. She got me a blue pair, but we all had jelly shoes.
Yeah,
So
I
anyway,
love it.
I had to bring all that back. Now remember, not really about me, but I'm included
Mm.
in this story. To where now people take that narrative and tell me that I was abused. They want me to know I was abused. They want me to know I was abused. They want me to know that it was shame involved, shame involved, shame involved. It helped to develop who I am. The men who taught me what it was to be a man. I would open doors. Now I say would, I'll tell you why that changed. I opened doors. Young or old, I opened doors. In the beginning, I opened doors out of courtesy. Later, I opened doors to see what was going through. damn. So I went through that stage to open the door.
Fair.
Hey, oh. Either way, I was opening doors. You get on the
Yeah.
subway and the train, some elderly person come, I'm jumping up. Boom. Plus, I like to sit. I like to ride in the front or the back car to watch the tracks and stuff. I like that anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I stopped opening doors only because the work I did was sex offenders. The only reason I stopped opening doors is because the work that I did, I found that a lot of those guys were pervert. But then I was like, oh shit. So I'm a pervert when I'm,
Oh, okay. So you like
and then I didn't
you got
understand the psychology that every time I go through the door, I just go through the door, dick swinging. Not, I'm just go through the door. Women go through the door, and I didn't understand the psychological warfare for some. Like if I go across the room, uh, and a woman go across the room, like just the psychological warfare about how many eyes are on her, because we live in a very sexual, right? Our society is
yeah,
very
yeah.
sexual. So I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
I didn't realize that no matter how much I was smiling, hello and hello,
Yeah.
and some who would adjust their shirts, like you pull, like when you stand up and you pull your shirt down, I'd be like, why are you
Mhm.
like, what's that supposed to mean? That's like a woman clutching her purse when I walk down the street. See, like you see this in me, but when I put my hood on or something, and you don't know no doctor, no nothing, people, I walk past them and they clutch the purse and all that, and I'm like, bitch, please. But
You're
but
that's
the
your hood, yeah.
psychological warfare that goes with it, same thing
Yeah,
as going across the room. And so anyway, when I found that out and I realized that now, and then I had like this internal warfare, like, damn, I can't even open the door. They're gonna think no one said it to me. That was just me on my own because of my clients. And when they tell me stuff, oh no, 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 I'm like,
right.
that's
You
what y'all should be
internalize
thinking.
that? Would that be a fair way to say that? I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
use that word.
internalized it. It's like, oh,
Is that
even though I was never opening doors for that, I was just opening because my mom,
right,
like I said, with mom, we that's what we did.
right,
Um, But when I realized, like, even if I'm not doing that, she most likely, whoever this person is, still is going through the psychological warfare. Not
right.
all, but so then I stopped, but then I felt bad, like, damn, I can't even open the door. Why? But no one said I couldn't. So then I learned how to open the door, but then I turned my body. So I know how to pull the door open and turn when you go
Mhm,
through.
mhm,
Or if it's a push door, I know how to push through the door and I push and go all the way through, and you actually walk through behind me.
mhm, mhm.
And I took pride in that. Take pride in that. Like, yeah, because I get to still open the door.
Right,
But then when
right.
someone goes through the door and tells you they don't need you to do anything for them, I don't need you to hold the door open for me. I'm not handicapped. If you notice, I didn't say I held the door open only for the people in the wheelchair. I did say elderly, but I didn't say only for the people in the wheelchair. So to tell
Right.
me you don't need anything, well, I know you didn't need anything, but I was doing it because I wanted to. Again, you didn't ask, but that's what
Right.
I was raised on. You do
Wasn't
these
doing it
type of
because I
things.
didn't think that you couldn't or that you would
Right,
have trouble. Yeah, it was just a
right.
common courtesy.
Yes. I went to a couple foster homes that I didn't know the religion back then, but we would go to church and the women would, like, the music, and they get to jumping and stuff. And they could not wear pants. But then, like, if they hit the floor, or whatever, some other people would come behind them with some blankets. So like so like they wouldn't be exposed. So you could still be going through the spirit or whatever, but your clothes, they had blankets on. Okay,
Oh.
so I remember, like, wow, they looked out for the women, like
Yeah, yeah.
she having the Holy Spirit and they blocking my view and stuff.
Mhm. Right, right.
But like that's pretty cool though. Like, wow. So even though I
Yeah.
had that little moment of like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I couldn't wait till like something would be happening. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, there you
Yeah,
go.
like I can help.
Man, I was proud of that. Like, woo! And can you imagine now if you go to do that for someone and someone yanks it off and you say, I don't need your shit?
Oh, that
Huh,
that would be
huh.
humiliating,
Yeah.
and it would
Every
make you
job
not
that I
wanna help
do,
anyone else.
mm, every job that I do in the social service field, in the hospitals, in the jails, you name it, on the application is he and she. We're talking about grade school, junior high, high school, community college, university, grade, post grad, and fellowship. Now, you mean not one teacher, not one person told me that they was a pronoun? Not one. I got graded on how to say these, thous, and those. I got graded on they and their, like they, apostrophe R-E, theirs versus they are.
Singular and plural, right?
Y'all. That goes south. I'll be hearing, well, y'all. I'm like, what the, what? You don't say y'all.
Right.
You all. Those,
Right.
I got graded on that stuff. You have someone tell you that you need to unlearn. You need to dump all of what you know so then you can accept who I am. And see, when my mom was raising me, she told me, you see that over there? That's Guido and those guys, and you don't mess like Guido will. But I was kind of a dumb, risky kid. Like I liked going to talk to Guido. I mean, because I didn't understand the value of death. I mean, if Guido was going to take me out, I didn't understand the value of death. So, mom said don't, and I want to check it out. And then some of those foster homes I was in the Bronx, and I don't remember some of those places, but I know Mrs. Cherry in the Bronx. We would go like these jams, like these little festival things. The guys are playing drums and the bongos and stuff, and just be having a good time. But almost guaranteed you watch someone just get big out. Just guaranteed every night is going to be at one of those weekend things. So you see that, and just the value of life. It's like, huh? I was just talking to that dude, like, and now he's on the floor with his head like blood. Like I was just talking to him, and so when I'm standing there looking at him, and not so much in shock, but like, damn. How's that work? Like I was just, wow. So that was just, I mean, I guess that is shock, but it wasn't amazing. Like, oh, blood and the person is dying. It was just more like, I was just talking to him. So I didn't understand the value of death. So I put myself in situations that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
And so then to tell me, you need to unlearn. And I'm gonna take this off of me. I'm gonna move it forward, and we'll open up the lines because I'm using a lot of me right now just to kind of set the stage. So then, you have to unlearn he and she and they. Now, I'm not here to debate about the theys. I respect the theys. Like I said, I'm very neutral. I'm a DBT practitioner where we just dialectical. Everything is right down the middle because there's two views. There's more than one view to everything. There's more than one view to everything. There's a day and a night. There's a right and a wrong, right? There's a positive thing on the battery and a negative on the battery. Who's right? Who's wrong? So I'm right down the middle. So welcome to the club. Right. I grew up in Star Trek. All of them were fucked up. I mean, the ears and Star Wars. Chewbacca, and they understand each other. 3CPO. I grew up in Melting Pot, New York. So me accepting a they was not. That's not a problem for me. That's just like, okay, welcome. Right. So that's not a problem. But then, wait, because Guido never said I had to accept him. My mom said to stay away from them. Them folks. Because my mom can go down the street. I don't know what it was about her. My foster mom, but she was probably about 4'9" and can walk past Guido and those guys. But see, them Harlem dudes, they respected women. You could be in the middle of whatever, and when them elderly women come down the street, and I'll fuck you up extra if you do something crazy while she's walking through. Like, oh yeah, how you doing, Mrs. So-and-so? You want me to help you with them bags? We go to PMB store, and you want me to help you with them bags? And then there's like a walking cart. I don't know if I make it sound like you've never seen one of these, but I don't know how to explain. It's not a shop. We put our laundry. But man, please.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So the Guido didn't mess with them. Crazy Papito didn't mess with them. Eddie, the police officer, New York police officer, where they cleavages, with them white shirts and them things. They had them old revolvers. Crazy Eddie. And I used to call him Crazy Eddie because there was an electronics store there called Crazy Eddie. I was like, hey, Crazy Eddie. And a little jingle and stuff. But we knew to respect. You didn't have to force that. I mean, if you didn't know, you'll know soon.
Right,
But you didn't have
right.
to force it. And no one told me I had to stop being me. I have to stop being me. Okay. So my private practice grew in numbers when the pandemic hit. A lot of places went out of business. Mental health skyrocketed.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the last year, Coach K, and I didn't know about it until I had to go get some help. The last year, Black men have been deleting themselves because their identity has been gone, wiped away. Now, that's been happening for years. I mean, every generation has that. You go through slavery, you go through all those different things. Every generation, every person. Let's not just say Black. I'm sure every generation, every culture, everybody has had some type of transition. I get it. But I got to witness over the last year people who were lawyers, doctors, and in the psychology field, psychologists, licensed practitioners who left the business because the government is saying you have to affirm. And if you're not fully financially independent, you got to
You
play
have
ball.
to. You have
You have
to,
to
yeah.
play ball.
Yep.
Now, because I'm a little bit more on the reckless side, and what I mean by reckless, remember, I don't know the value of death. I do, but I came into the world with nothing. I'm gonna go out with nothing. Now, my problem is I've moved up to the bourgeois world, so now there are some things where I'm like, ooh.
Looks,
but
looks
but you
different.
let me stay there for long enough, and I'm right in it. When I go to New York,
Right.
my accent just kicks in. I go to the Philippines, and they got water bugs. They got flying water bugs. I used to battle with New York water bugs. But them Philippine water bugs.
Ooh,
But when you're there for a minute or two and I just lay on the floor and sleep,
I'm about to Google this.
hey, check it out. I lay on the floor and sleep. They're like, you sleep because you go over, you're American, you have some status, and they expect that you want to. I do stay in hotels, but because of the heat, so they call it aircon. There's no air conditioners in the villages, in the huts, in the homes and huts. It'll be hot. I need some air. But for the most part, I can stay in the village. I can go to the mountains. I can stay in
Right.
the mountains and live. I'm not a mountain person. I couldn't tell you how to climb a tree or nothing. But I know how to be in that element and be like, well, it is what it is. But then to tell me I have to unlearn. So now I'll go to this place where I see you want me to work with this elder and tell them what? They're super depressed. And I'm listening to these men talk to me. And the job said, I'm narcissistic. It's like, you might be. What else? The job said, I'm misogynistic. Oh, they worked there 15 years. And all of a sudden now,
Yep.
they're misogynistic.
Right.
This one brother I talked to actually has been going backwards. Remember how I said I used to open doors, then I stopped, and I opened doors again? But I stopped because I want to find out, like, whoa, that's what, man, I didn't even think. I think I do that. I mean, I do that. Ooh, I do. Wait, am I? No, stop.
Right, right.
These guys slowed down just because they didn't have the energy anymore. Like they'll be proud to go do stuff. These were lions who said, "Raw, hear me roar." You don't have to tell me. Now, you do have to remind me, wife, 10 times to bring home some milk and 10 times to bring home a carton of eggs. You do have to
Right.
tell me that 10 times. But you don't ever have to tell me that the refrigerator is empty and I need to get food in there. You have to remind me 10 times that the gallon of milk is out.
Right, right.
You don't have to remind me That when you say, oh, I think the car, there you go, what's up? Oh, you already got it?
Mhm.
So these guys were working, and if you get off at night and it's dark out there, well, hold on, Mrs. So you can't go out there by yourself.
Mhm.
You cannot go out there by yourself. So I'm going to
Yeah.
walk you to your car, and then I have to go back by myself in the dark
Yep.
to hear this man say, well, when I offered, they said I'm misogynistic. Hmm. But my understanding, what's your definition of misogynistic, Coach?
Um, I guess it's someone. The actual definition is someone who hates women. I guess just
Okay.
women for being women.
Yep. So the
All
guy who's going
women.
out there helping people in the dark hates women.
Right. Right.
The guy who's in the lunch cafeteria who's carrying the tray, and I'm not here to debate if someone's handicapped and they should do for themselves. Women, men, they, them, whoever, you can carry whatever, do whatever you want. But to tell someone that you're less than because you feel less than, and now we're all going to be less than, but better yet, you will now be less than, and I'm going to be greater than. Well, what's the big deal? I've been living like that all my life. Well, true. I'll give you that. You've been living like that where you can't be part of the great. You can't be part of the minority. You can't a majority. You can't be part of the majority and the privilege. Okay, as a battle I really don't understand. But did anyone tell you that you had to stop being who you are? Well, yes. Okay. Oh, you got me there. Wait. I was raised all my life this way. You were raised that way, or you made a change? Oh, you made a change. Oh, you made a change. And because you changed, now I have to change. And let me be clear.
Correct.
I know, because remember, I work with and I know of those who are naturally, they haven't changed. They finally got to
Right.
feel free enough to talk about it. So I'm not talking
Right.
about those, I'm talking
Right.
about the ones who are political. See, the ones
Correct.
who are naturally they're not, they've been waiting for marriage laws for decades. They've been waiting pleasantly. They're the ones who down south, they're getting chased and can get killed. East Coast, you can get killed. West Coast, you can get killed. They're not out there marching about nothing or politically marching. That's not who
Correct.
these are. I'm talking about the ones who say, I have this option and I have this right and now I have this control. And when I take control, you have to be accepting. And I'm going to
It,
change the narrative. I'm going to change words. I was just talking to Mrs. I wasn't talking to her. I was on the show. I was on somebody's show. And I was talking about shame. Now, I've been talking about
mhm.
shame since 2012, like a
Mhm.
presentation, shame. And
Yeah.
I vaguely remember the definition, but I remember always saying it was something ridiculous. Shame is an act of subconscious act that's ridiculous. Because I remember I used to always say that word, ridiculous. And I have recordings, they say receipts. So I have some receipts to make my little audio recordings and all that. So for my speaking. So I know I've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
saying that receipt since 2012. I've been talking about shame. So when I was on this
Yeah.
show, Mrs. She said, threw up the definition.
Hmm.
It's like a favor, we're talking and say, what's the word? She threw up the definition. And her said something about foolish. I was like, oh yeah, that's one of the definitions. And I saw it. But I was like, yeah, that's not the one I was talking about. But yeah, that's foolish. Whatever, that's about the same. So then later I went to look, because I was in my own head, like, man, let me find my receipts, because I forgot I'm sure I
Right.
was on, but I
Right.
know I was talking about shame. I was like, let me hear if I was talking about in 2012 is still the same in 2023. Let me see. And yeah. So I did say it was the word well, and I looked it up, and all of a sudden the entire definition was what Mrs. She said sent me. I was like, no, this is not. Well, maybe I use Webster. What
Right.
the? An entire definition changed. Hmm. Poly. So I thought I had a big heart, a lot of love. I can give all the love in the world. I need all the women's I can get. I didn't know it came out of a broken place. A lot of poly people won't say that. They got a lot of love and big dicks. So you got it all. You got it all. I had a lot of love to give. But really what it was, I was fragile and I needed tons of intimacy. And I'm used to attachment issues. I don't
Right.
attach very well. So but it was funny because I didn't know it was cheating. I knew it was cheating, but I didn't count it cheating because I was like, yeah, this is my girlfriend. And she's saying she won't be my girlfriend. Y'all agree? Y'all gonna be you
Right.
should have never
Right.
told me. You should have never told me that. Y'all, let's put it to the test. You two kiss. I laugh.
Thank
You
you.
know, there are true lesbians out there, lesbians who really do struggle with the fact that someone is wanting and trying to make them do some sexual act for their pleasure. So even though I'm like kissing, making fun, I do also want to respect and honor the
Right.
women who are lesbians who just because they're two women and some dude on the subway, on the train or whatever out there is like, y'all kiss. Excuse me? We're not,
Right.
oh, you think we're together for your pleasure?
Right. Right.
No,
Right.
no, no. But so I was like, I'll kiss. And they did, and I was like, oh. And I didn't understand the power of influence. Like they get mad. We're not lesbians. We're not. Bitch, please, y'all out there. But what I found out was they were doing that for me.
Right.
No. Yeah, yeah. And then the way they kissed, this ain't y'all first time. Quit playing. This ain't y'all first time. We go a little deeper and they doing all kinds of stuff. I'm like, this your first time, huh? I wouldn't even be excited the first time to join. I'd be like, this your first time? In fact, I feel like I got played.
Right.
You
Right.
hold on. Oh, wait. Now I think about it. You two came to me just asked because you knew my nasty ass would say yes. And now y'all together, huh? But anyway, that's the side note. My point is, how do you tell this grown man, so not me anymore, how do you tell this grown man that what he's doing is misogynistic when he's out there helping women? And now this grown man is taking pills because his functioning, his identity, the narrative has changed. He woke up, he went to bed to what he thought it was, and then woke up to what it is. He went to bed with what he thought it was and woke up to what it is, and his brain hasn't been the same since.
Yeah.
Those dictionary words, poly is where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
So poly used to mean that you liked more than one. It meant, in fact, that's all I would say is more than one. In fact, I would trick women. Excuse me. I would get with. See, like, coach, I would ask you, if once I tell you, because again, I was transparent, I was up front. I ain't like all that trying to run around with lies and remember right up front. You have a girlfriend?
Right.
Yes. That's Shaniqua right there. Shaniqua, hold on, I'm talking to Coach K. Coach K. Wait, I'm not. And I love like after the commercial break, I'm not gonna be commercial break, and then commercial break, and then after that, we're all together. So more than one. And coach, I would ask you, and not you personally, but like, have you ever been cheated on? Because you would first tell me, do me a favor, just pretend. We'll pretend your name is Shawana. And so Shawana, what do you think if I have another girlfriend? Give me the business. Like, hell no, just give me the business. What's
No,
up?
absolutely not.
You would never be, so you'd never be with more, so you would never be with a guy who has more than one? Never?
No.
All right, that's cool. Hey, quick question, because you're probably talking from a broken heart. That's why you don't want to be with nobody. You don't trust nobody. You ever been cheated on?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, did you find out you were cheated on? Because you sound like someone hurt.
Well, I was just told tonight on, on a different show that it's not cheating if you don't find out. So
Right.
real
Oh,
talk though,
damn.
actually. But
But just
yeah.
so you find out, yeah. So now let's say
But yeah,
you
I
find
found
out,
out
and I say, well, how long was he cheating? And just throw a number out there.
6 months.
Damn. So for 6 months,
He
you were in the triad.
I knew that's where you're gonna go with that. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
but
no, you
not
said
intentionally.
you would never ever be with a man who had another woman. And for 6 months, and how was the last 6 months, by the way?
Right,
Huh?
right. He
You were
seemed
happy?
happy.
Yeah, you were happy as hell, huh? And in fact, why are you so confused about it? Because he spent so much time with me. Uh-huh. How did he taste that night? Wait, listen. The point
Right,
is,
right,
you,
right.
the the poly word that I I hate to say manipulating, but I was making my point. My whole thing is I like you and I like you. The reality is y'all done been in a relationship. And that's how I'm like, oh yeah. Hmm. But I
Right.
didn't know about it. Well, now you do. But poly meant more than one. The next day I go to the dictionary, it has a whole different definition. Oh, the Google. How does someone just change a word? How does that work? Because not only do you change the word, you change the narrative, but it impacts people's lives who live by those words. I'm not talking about me being slick and like, oh, more than one poly and let me trick. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you change the word to now where body count is a fun thing, is the thing to do. Poly is an abundance of and blah 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 blah. Poly just meant more than one. You still had rules to the game. See, the reason I
Right,
say I wasn't cheating is because you knew about each other. They
right,
know about each other. If they like it or not, that's another story. But you can't say that I wasn't upfront. The stuff that were people just talking about, I got multiples. They don't know about each other, and then the one says I don't want to know about the others, and then all of a sudden there was like 2 or 3 types. And now there's like 40 types of polyism. I'm just like, what? I'm solo poly. I'm trained poly. I'm kitchen poly. I'm the America's poly. What kind of?
yeah. During the situation, the illness, in 2020, they even
Mhm.
changed during that time because a lot of these have been like within a span of, X amount of years, but they changed the definition of herd immunity during that time.
Mm,
So, just to
mm,
give an example
yeah,
of
yeah,
literally a definition meaning one thing, and then all of a sudden, and it makes you feel like you're crazy.
yes, yes. And so let me land this so we can open up the channels. So these men, I was talking to a guy he was pumping me up about, oh, so happy to see this young brother. And now in my mind, I'm like, I'm old, man, but go ahead. I hear you. Go ahead. Keep it going about the youngness. Go ahead. This
Right.
young brother, oh, he was telling me how proud he is of me and I'm the doctor of this. And then he's talking about scholars. Like, yeah, I'm a scholar. That's funny you say that. I don't even remember that word until people say it. Like, yeah. And he's talking about, the things I've done and continue to do and blah, blah, blah. And that's why I've slowed down. I don't teach as much as I used to and da, 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 da. And I wasn't using a lot of big words. And I don't use a lot of big words. And I told him, I said, nah, man, I'm slow. And I laughed. I was like, no, I'm slow. And he was like,
Oh,
and
shit.
I thought it was funny, but brother got mad at me.
Oh.
You don't call yourself slow. I said, no, I'm gonna be honest. I have the degrees. And then I was doing let me be honest, which is some bullshit too, by the way. Let me just be transparent.
I
Let me just be right. Because now that's like, stop. Nobody even gives a shit. But anyway, listen, let
right.
me be honest. I didn't have a learning disability, but when you get knocked upside the head, I didn't realize I didn't even know my speech patterns and some of the words you give me. Huh? What? Huh? What? You would think you were dating a foreigner or something. Huh? What? Huh? What? Just I love learning speech stuff is impacted by trauma. or
Right.
trauma can impact your speech. I didn't know. And I went to
Yeah,
radio,
yeah.
Brown Institute, and learning the news. Today in the news. I was like, God damn, y'all say news. Who say
Yeah,
news? And I'm listening to the announcers today on the news. I was like, wow, they
ew,
really
yeah,
do
no
talk like
thank
that.
you. I don't like
So I
that.
was learning how to, yeah. But uh, mentors, supports, peer teacher, student teachers, man, please. I need all the help I can get. And then once I get what like I need out of the class, thank you. The rest was like memorization, take a test and learning
Right.
this. And then my clinicals, not my clinicals, but that's doing this. That's so but that type of learning. So you learn someone's learning type. And I was
Mhm.
explaining that to him, and the entire time I'm all jazzed up explaining, and see the thing, and then I get into clinicals and da da da.
And he's because he
He
didn't
was
like
just
that you said
they
was he
didn't like it
mad?
because he said, I don't give a damn how you got it, you got it. And then you
Oh,
pay. I was telling him about the bills. I'm like, I'm up to like 290. My bill started at 250, but every time they add an interest thing, it's like $4,000 in interest. I just paid off $4,000 and it's like $4,000 in interest. It's crazy. But so I was telling him about the debt. So he said, yeah.
right.
So they don't count the debt as in like you got the slow debt, like you have a slow debt. I'm like, huh? You have like a slow finance? I'm like, what are you talking about? You have the special ed kind of? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, you paying for the same type of debt like anyone else that I mean, you can go to another more prestigious school.
Right.
Okay, but the debt, you accrue that. And did you earn the degree? Did you do research? And I was like, hell yeah, I did the research. I was finding myself defensive, like, yeah, I
Okay,
have
I
my receipts
see.
too. So I start getting, I'm like, I have my receipts, or I'm not, you look it up. I'm not gonna prove
Right,
anything, you
right,
look it up. Or you gotta look up
right.
my name. You'll see I'm all in the journals and stuff, peer
Yeah, you
reviewed
will.
journals. Yeah, but then I was catching on because he was told, I, I told you I don't really always understand the value of death. And I didn't understand the value of my education. I mean, I like, woo, I'm a doctor, but because of where I'm from is like, you're not about a doctor. And the people who put their boot in my ass to help me get to the people who protected me, like, no, youngster, you don't want to understand in the back. I couldn't tell you if they had a PhD in the streets. That's what they had. But I couldn't tell you what if they went past 8th grade. So it was hard
Right.
for me. My books, my publications don't have doctor on it. I'm like, I was in the Nakumbe. And
Oh,
I'd actually have supervision on my job where they're like, why are your patients calling you in the company? What's up? I'm like, oh,
you didn't you didn't wanna be called that?
that was like some shame thing. Like, why would I?
Mm, like,
I didn't
like,
understand it.
imposter stuff?
Well, I had some imposter syndrome because
Oh, yeah,
I
we
could
have
do
talked
the
about this,
work.
but
Yeah, I could do the work, but then sometimes I'm like, I can't do that work. Like right now, I write a
mm,
20-page report to take to court, and I can do the testifying. But writing that 20 pages and let my boss come and tell me, oh, this should be a period instead of a semicolon. Uh, Ugh. It's gonna take me
for real
3 weeks. It's gonna take me a
for
month
real
to,
though,
to
but
fix that
yeah,
one set. All right, here we go. Let's
yeah,
get in there and uh ugh.
yeah,
All right, here we go. Uh ugh. So I had to get over that, I had to learn.
right,
And so
right,
now while I'm just like, woo, how I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. This dude was, and so what I was about to tell you was, so
mm,
he went through the days when even though he had the degree, he can be standing right next to a white person. And they were like, oh, this is Dr. Smith so-and-so, and this is Bill. And he just bite his tongue. He said until one day he accidentally bit it so hard that it hurt. And he said that'll be the last time he hurt himself to make someone else feel better. Mm.
mm,
But notice where I'm telling you where I met him at. He's my patient. My patient. He said back then was the last time he would bite his tongue to make someone else happy or to appease. And so when they were like, oh, this is Dr. So-and-so, and this is Bill, Dr. Bill, nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, Dr. Bill. And you don't have to say it, I'll say it for myself because I have my credentials. I'm Dr. Bill. And I'm not saying his
right,
real name because I'm not going to tell you who my patient is, but so Dr.
right.
Bill, so when he was telling, when I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't, and cowering, but I'm like, no, I'm not that way anymore. Trust me, it's Dr. Nakumbe. He's like, okay. But what's up now? Because now he's reliving that experience, and it's not about if he's
Oh,
doctor or not.
yeah.
It's about if
Yeah.
he knows what a male is and what a female is, and that he should not say man, he should not say woman, because the woman represents, oh, excuse me, he can't say female. He's been saying female for 70 years. He's been saying
Right.
female for 70 years. He can't say it because it only represents body parts. As far as we know, it could be a pig, cow, or horse. And in his mind, it could represent a pig, cow, or horse, just like a male can represent a pig, cow, or horse. So what's the difference? But because he didn't know how to bite his tongue anymore, they reduced his audience. You don't know how to stop talking? You go, you're damn right. I'm a female's a female. Okay. And they reduced his audience. Conveniently worked himself out of a job. Conveniently that he's been working there for 15 years. They changed the narrative. It's like changing the job description in the marriage in the middle of the night. Changing the job description in the relationship. I promised you I was going to offer you this in the relationship. I changed the job description and then make it seem like you're the wrong one. You're the crazy one because you didn't adjust. 15 years. And the man's been saying female for 70.
And it also goes to a moral, it makes him, it almost demonizes him too in a moral way also. That's another issue, I think. Not only it's his livelihood, it's, it attacks his character. Again, it attacks your sanity because it's like, am I the only one seeing this?
He is gone.
Damn.
Looking through the window of life, trying to figure out what happened. And I'm not talking about slavery days. Remember, he goes back 70 years to the years of when he was say doctor, and they were like, "Yeah, calm down, dude." So he grew up through those days where he had to represent as a man and a black man and all that. He's not even talking
Yeah.
about that. He's saying he can. The argument was what type of man, or who what type of man, not if he's a man. What type of woman, not if she's a woman. And then if you don't subscribe, we'll change the narrative. We'll change the definition of words and force it on you. And if you don't subscribe to the ones who have the power, they'll make it so you fail, you fall, and you die.
Yeah.
I felt this conversation was imperative because, YouTube is entertaining and stuff, and I have to pick a bone with one of our brothers on here laughing to me. Look at this dude. He's a simp. He's a pussy. He's a pussy because the guy was crying on the show, crying on not on our show, but on one of our content providers on there. Look, he's a pussy. He's a pussy. For real? Why do we push these narratives? Why do we push these narratives? But again, there's an entertainment piece to it, but then there's the ones who are actually losing their jobs, losing their mind, losing the capacity to think because someone decided to change a narrative. It wasn't stopped, blocked, nothing. And then make it seem like you're at fault. And so these last couple of months actually was back in August 24. So
Yeah.
all of 23, but slowly but surely seeing these brothers. I'm talking about intelligent men. And it's men across the board because then I also have the white colleagues who are saying, yeah, I'm good. Doc, aren't you a coach too? Yeah. Teach me about coaching. I can't keep my license. I don't want to be. And the fact that I have some white colleagues who are like, man, tag, we're it. I'm like, well, about time. And they're like, what? And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. But,
Yeah. They are.
I,
Yeah.
I joke, but I'm like, no, fuck y'all. I mean, y'all always been starting trouble. Now it's your turn. But for them, it's like a different experience. They're like, well, beat my ass. Beat my ass. And I'm not going to name these things because I don't want to get the channel in trouble. But, there's another part of the world, there's the other side of the world where there was a war and those people were taking people and telling them to go take a shower and do all kinds of things and wiping them out. When that
Mhm.
war was over, if you were known to be that type of person, you were taken out.
Right, right.
Now, some
Yeah.
ran to America and, they haven't been found for 70 years and all that. Some would
Yeah.
capture them and put a little mark on them so people would know. But my white friends are saying that's not even that. They're like, that makes sense. We were horrible, and if you could flip it and the white masters became now the slaves, and yeah, we would get wiped out. We get it.
Right.
These
Right.
colleagues is like, we get it. You'll beat our ass. We get it. But this is not even beating our ass. This is like a slow across the board. And then we had deeper conversation. I said, oh, it's not the same because you're actually lined up with black people too. So it's not even just a white slaughter, but it's like all men. But since you are the majority and you are the privileged, yeah, tag, you're it.
Right, right.
So
You're
narrative
right.
changing, huh?
No, you're right. Can I say too, what do you say to those who, and I will, honestly, this is very unfortunate, but I will say this is very, I'm glad that because you all obviously have been in the field for a long time, very experienced, very credentialed, and I have only, I mean, I studied social work, but I never got my license, and I just saw things, and you will hear some people talk about it that are in the field, like that's their niche on YouTube, like talking about how the APA and things have kind of gone a little, crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And honestly, that's kind of why I wanted to become a coach too, is because not only do I love coaching, but I obviously there's some things that I don't think I could sign that paper because
Mm-hmm.
I cannot look myself in the mirror and be like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I told these people I would agree, I would follow these guidelines, and I can't. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, there are people who on this channel, but really in our daily lives, that will say that this is not happening, or that
Mm-hmm.
that this doesn't matter, this doesn't affect you. What would you
Mm-hmm.
say to them?
See, that's the part, because earlier when I said it depends on the part of the world you're on, because I've been I almost said touring. I've been touring. I've been hitting some spots and having these conversations, and some people looked at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "You never heard of YouTube?" Like, yeah. What are
Right,
you?
right.
This stuff I was talking about. They're like, yeah, that's happening. What? When? What? And I don't mean just white people. I mean, like, I've been traveling some spots where people are like, yeah. I don't know who you've been talking to, man. Marriage is swinging and live here.
Pronouns.
Everyone's here is married. I'm like, y'all are? So I was like, oh. So I noticed, depending where I was going and who I was talking to, they weren't on the same page. I'm like, y'all not talking about? And they're like, no, what, dude? And then they showed me the algorithms, and nothing was in there about it.
What
And I'm
about
like, oh, because
pronouns
you haven't,
though?
huh?
The pronouns though, that kind of
Oh, so
stuff.
yeah, the pronouns. They said, well, yeah, but they said like they didn't know it was as bad. Like, oh yeah, I mean, we know
Mm.
the pronouns, but
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I don't want to
yeah.
fault them
So that
if it's not really happening where they're at, but at the same time, it
right, it's
sometimes
happening.
yeah, it is happening. And
Hmm.
but again,
So,
it's
but
that
a lot of these
slow burn. So it's like,
right,
well, it's going to be on your doorstep next. So, you know what I mean?
right. So, depending where you are,
Hmm.
there are people who know of it, but it's like, yeah, that's not coming here. I mean, if it is here,
Right.
it's low key, and then the people who are living that, not the lifestyle, but the ones who are actually who are identifying, it's like, hey, that's me. They're not the ones, again, at least from what I understand and what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and what I'm interviewing and talking to people, they're not the ones with the money making these influential, these them paying and making all these changes. They're saying, I am that
Right.
lifestyle. And as much as you guys are all out there having a big war about it, I'm like still in danger. He was like, oh,
Right.
but so that's another whole conversation. It's like, oh, so they're actually still in danger. But then the other ones who are like Google, the people who are changing the terms, changing the words. That's not your average James who turns to Shaniqua. That's not. No, that's not.
Right.
That's not who that is. That's not who that is. Changing these definitions and the narratives. So let me land with this because I'm going to get some people up.
Yeah.
And so this is really a shout out to the men, black men, and I'm going to say pending the age gap because you can catch it when it's young too. But I'm talking about people who were raised on what a man was. And I'm talking about even coach. I think we did it. I think one of our first few shows together. Didn't we do that thing where I mapped out where did you
Yeah.
learn what it was to be a man?
Yep.
Teachers, coaches, priests, you name it. What did they teach you? They taught me to be respectful, to protect a woman. Now, how likely, how capable of you to do what it is you were taught? And then what's the internal conflict because you can't do it? Because you can't subscribe to being what a man is supposed to be according to. See, I didn't watch Grandpa when he said, "Hey, let me come down." Grandpa showed my dad how to change oil in a car. Then the younger folks, when dad is in his all blue jumpsuit, got the car jacked up, saying, "Come on, son, let me show you, Dad. I got to hit the streets." So now the next generation really don't know how to change oil, but they'll spend $70 at Midex or Jiffy Lube or whatever to get the oil change. And then Dad is laughing at him like, "Damn, this cost me like $10 for this can and $5
Right.
for this filter." But keep going with that $70. Let me know how that works for you. But now that's not even a car anymore. That's not even a can, and you can't even do it. What do you mean? And so to have Grandpa like he's deleted, like he doesn't matter, like that generation, like.
Yeah.
And then the last few conversations, because I'm wrapping it up. So a lot of the Marvel, a lot of the hero movies keep talking about these timelines. I don't know if you're keeping up with that. They're keeping up with these timelines and how they're making changes. The time pending the time, and I don't mean timeline like back in the 50s. I mean timeline as in if you go to the left into that world, because it's not always going back. It's not a timeline that brings you back. It's a timeline that can bring you forward. It could bring you to a timeline where you have a twin. So it is all kind of movie stuff. But I'm like, huh. So these conversations, these guys were talking about how they feel like they're going through a timeline. And when they get to that side, they're totally stripped of who they are. And they have to go by the new kind of timeline, laws, rules, meaning. And so then what they knew about women and loved and respected women, and they had their foolery. Yeah, I mean, you do what you can to get some sex. You do what you can. Yeah, you have that. But at the end of the day, no matter how much you pissed me off, no matter how much you did whatever, my job was still to protect you. My job at a job was to be like, "Hey, come on now, sister, don't." You see all them white boys over there? They are all railroad family. Their great grandparents been working here, grandparents been working here, parents been working here. They're all together, and none of them gonna just lose the job. Your black ass, you gonna lose your shit. Stop. At the end of the day, see, yesterday I could have been saying, "What's up? Can I get some ass?" Fuck you. But let them come for her.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. Let them come for her. No, whoa. Oh, you protecting your goddamn right. And at the end of the day, even Sam, the white girl, I'm gonna protect her. Even Mrs. So whatever the women.
Right.
It is my job to protect. Now you got your peeps over there. Let them do it first. But I'm still a man at the end of the day. So if your peeps don't do it, I'll help. I'll still do my role. So for those of you who are in the chat and listening to the replay, it's going to be very clear, because don't get twisted with the words. Oh, you were saying. Be very clear in what I'm saying. You change a meaning, you change a narrative, and you fuck with someone's identity. And there are people who are deleting themselves because they no longer have that identity that they've been known to have forever. And this is not for the person who identifies as gay, lesbian, bisexual. This is not for even the person who's saying, "Hey, I'm trans, and this is who I've been all my life." I'm talking about the people who have the power to change. And if whoever that is, because it could be straight people too. Who the hell is convincing? So straight people too that are making these changes. There are
Right.
men who are now saying, "Yes, I am a woman," because they're like, "Yep, let me get on the other side now. Let me get
Right.
on the other side now." That teacher, if you heard about that teacher who had the big giant boobs, and you heard about that teacher who was
Yeah.
going around, and everyone was getting on, "Oh, he wants to be a woman. He wants to be a woman." That dude has a master plan. This is the new women's rights. Call me a woman, sign me up. I'm a woman, sign me up.
I
And
mean,
now, when they're telling him some things that he can't do as a woman, there's going to be some buildings but pretty soon with his name on it when he get done suing. Master plan. But anyway, that's not the whole story.
but
So
really though, yeah.
masterful, because everyone's like talking shit like, you know, but he's like, no, he's staying quiet. But the differences have always been there. You know, women versus men, the differences have always been there. But when now that same woman has the audacity to say, you're not shit, when that same person says, what you're teaching is, hold on, I'm teaching to help and that's wrong. I'm teaching to help and that's wrong. That's wrong because, well, you use the terminology. You use the terminology. When you have to sign at your job, pronoun, she, they, he, you have to do it as the company rule. Since when? Remember, I grew up on, well, that's because back then, there's new times. But just because there's new times, how do you change science? How do you change the original? We ain't changed. We gotten fancier with the light bulbs, but ain't no one said there ain't no light bulb no more.
Right.
We got fancier with the cars, now they electronic, but they still call cars.
Right. And they still don't work in they don't work in the cold, some of them, right?
Yeah. But the battery ones, you know, but they still have 4 wheels or 3 wheels or 2 wheels, but it still takes a
Yeah, it's
wheel.
still called, yeah, it's still called a car
Yeah.
though, yeah.
And we had the trains, and now we have the super trains, but there's still a train. Now you say, oh, those aren't human lives. What I'm saying is we just don't change. We just don't uproot. And so the last little thing, like I said last time, for like, please open the channel. I'm saying the last time for like 10 times. But while we're opening the channels, the Black folks who've been keeping their homes for 200, 300 years in the family, and now the young Thundercats coming in, they don't know what to do. They're not paying the tax on it. They lose the house. They lose the property. It's been in there for 300 years. And them folks are working hard to keep them houses, hard to keep them homes, and hard to keep everything. And so they are battling that. And on top of that, battling the fact that I'm not even who I am anymore because you say so. So I give a shout out. I know a couple who I promised I wasn't going to say their name. A couple people I interviewed in the last couple of months who blew my mind. And I wanted to fight for them dudes. I wanted to fight. When they were telling me to, you know, no. It's like an elderly telling you, no. But I'm saying, listen, it's not about if I can do that task. It's not about if they'll give me that job. It's not if they're going to call me doctor or not. We're talking about changing your identity and you have lost your life. Depression. Now, I'm a behavior. I know that I work with people changing their behaviors. I work with behaviors. Like, damn the reason. I do the root cause, and then either way, you got to get up. But these are people who are so far gone that when we're talking about changing behavior, they don't even know what to do. They are afraid just to breathe, Coach. I can't articulate the words well enough to look a man in the eyes and see that he is gone, not just because he got fired, but not only was he fired, but so you have to create something to make you feel so horrible that you're not believed anymore. You're not listened to anymore.
Yeah.
You're the old version of a man. See, there's the old and the obsolete. But we can laugh and be like, well, yeah, we used to be. That, you see that 72 car? Yeah, that used to be made out of real steel. That used to be, but now to be told, you never exist. You're wrong. All right.
Right.
Anyway, you got the point of what the topic was or is. And you have anything else to add, Coach?
No, this is important. Super important.
Open up the channels and do
glad
some station identification.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Blackman Unfiltered Network. Sorry, we didn't pause for a minute here. Welcome to the network. Dr. Nakumbe, Coach K, we're here talking about breaking the cycle. Tonight's particular topic is really about the impact of harmful narrative changes and identity, changing identity and harmful narrative changes, and the impact that has. It's a silent death. It's a silent death. And so there's so many men going through it and Black men who are going through it, and people don't know how many have been hushed. But it's not the ones who are stopping or changing laws. It's not the one changing laws. I'm talking about the men who are actually I don't care what your identity is. I'm here for you. Like at the end of the day, you do you. I'm still to protect you. To have a black
Right.
woman say to a black man, and that's been going on for years, right? It's been going on 60s, 70s, 80s, the movement, and I just don't really care. But at the end of the day, they still had each other's back. To now, I don't have your back, and I will watch you fail. I'll watch you fall. And I'm part of that movement that's saying, yeah, you're all bad and you're fucked up, and that you can't love somebody. You don't know how to love. I don't know. Well, what's the love? You just want to fuck everybody. Oh, I have a penis and they have a vagina. I do want to fuck everybody. I don't understand. And then
Right.
you watch them talk about it, and they're playing on the mic and like it's the dick, and they're
Right.
talking to the women like, huh? Wait a second.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Wait a second. I'm a little confused. I'm fucked up when I was doing that, and now you're doing the exact same thing. And then, Coach, how do we make babies? See, my debate isn't those who say, again, my debate is not those who say, I am this way. Not a lifestyle, but I am this way. Cool.
Right.
Cool. But to say that your vagina has never been a vagina and my penis has never been a penis, and to tell me that a man can have a baby. Now, I do understand. Like I studied enough and hear enough and value enough the construct. I get it. So the social piece of it, tomatoes. You call this a phone, I call it a smartphone. You call it a device, I call it whatever I want to call it.
Right.
And if I can call me whatever I want to call me. I play that game. Did I tell you about that game I play where I go to a school and I put up the word penis? Did I tell you
I
that
think
game?
so. Yeah.
And they give me like 500 names for
Yeah,
penis.
yeah,
And
yeah,
in
yeah,
their
yeah.
mind, that's who a penis is. Put up vagina. Now the women don't normally come up with too many names. They're not as nasty. They just do, a handful of names. You put up
Right.
sex, they put up a bunch of names. Then you put up
Right.
arm, ARM. But wait a second. You use from here to here. How many times in a day? How many times in a minute? And you only have one. Oh, your appendages. Yeah. Or put up
Right.
your dicks.
Right.
So, but my point
Right.
is, you use this a billion times. You only have one name, and here your little nasty petey weeder and your vagina hole, and then you have like 900 names to it. But
Right.
still, at the end of the day, it
A
is a
function.
penis and a vagina, and it is what makes babies. And then to tell me like I'm crazy, and especially someone who study science and study behavior, to try and tell these grown-ass men who are professors, doctors, and lawyers, they don't know how a baby was made, that a man could. Oh, wait. Let's
Birthing
start
person.
with,
Excuse you.
yes, let's start with, we've adjusted the title of what a man is.
To be more inclusive, right?
Yes. Got it. Warm me up to it. Warm me up to it. Work with me, because for my 70 years, this is what we called a man. If you've come, maybe I'm too old and need to move out the way. And Coach, I've said that before too. When it comes to doing certain things, the elderly or the lazy, they might have to move out the way and let the young folk and let the strong folk do what they need to do. So I get that piece. And if I'm too old to know what a man is, let me move out the way. But to tell me, no, you've been wrong the entire time, that's a totally different conversation. All right, so I'm repeating myself. But what my point is, the science behind making the baby, you're going to force this. And then you put certain messages out there where the black men hate the black women, and then the black men hate the black men, and then the women, whatever they're going to do. But then now we don't have each other. Notice what I said at the end of the day. I couldn't get her, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's still my duty, responsibility to protect her. Period. And Coach, you could be independent and be strong, but at the end of the day, you fuck around, get knocked out. I'm like, move, quit, move. I'm taking care. And you can get mad. We can argue about it later. Like, I'm not. I know you may not be, but
Have
it's
you ever
non-negotiable.
seen? I'll be quick with this, but have you ever seen they're horrifying. And of course, my husband being in the military, he's very tactical. He is impressed by, those skill sets. But have you ever watched some of those schools and just the men that go in there? Or even the soul man, and I think I've said this on this channel before, but the soul man that, was at the outlet mall or whatever in Allen, Texas by
Hmm.
himself and just goes in. And I'm just like, you cannot tell me that men, that's not, they don't serve a purpose, or that they're not needed, or that they're not, you know, worth something when they do things like this. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I don't
Hmm.
know. That's all I can say.
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
when you see it, it's just like, wow.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
Anyway,
And again,
thanks,
I'm yeah.
Cam.
Scam. What's going on? What's going on? While he's opening it up, Coach, I said we were going to do station identification. I said one word, and I got Lord, he got distracted.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What's up,
It's
Scams in the
okay.
house? Welcome for coming up to the panel. We have Trey Ferg in the house.
Hey,
Beautiful
Trey.
animated speaks is here. Hey, 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 what's up? Red Lipstick Vibes. Welcome to the network. Thank you for swinging through. Isaiah JR.
Hey.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Beautiful animated. Lou Medics in the house. Thank you
Hey,
always for
Lou.
being here.
Trey.
Isaiah, Trey, Lou, Trey, or so Trey F.
Dragonfly.
And who? Dragonfly.
Yeah.
I left. Remember that show where I did all these blah blah blah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, and Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Dragonfly, what's up? What's up? Welcome. If I missed your name, my bad. I don't, we didn't stop to really look at the names and stuff, but I do want to acknowledge everyone who has stopped by and who is listening either now and on the replay. Thank you for being here. Please show your love. Hit the like button. Share the video. Now, I do understand that this particular content I've not actually discussed with people publicly, so I understand if you have some hesitation. Because see, Coach, not everyone's going to have the courage
Right.
and not everyone's positioned. But I say, when a tornado comes, it doesn't matter if you're positioned or not. You could be bunkered or whatever. When the tornado comes, if you're in the view, if you're in the lane, it's going to get you. So if you're bunkered and you can handle the conversation, great. If you're stable, can have the conversation, great. If you're just reckless and whatever, and have the conversation, great. But also be smart about it and protect yourself. All right. What's up, Scam? What do you have?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Nothing much.
What do you think?
I don't know how much you've been listening.
Yeah, I was listening. I was gonna go back to stuff that I do understand. I don't know about the other stuff. I don't know what I don't know. But
what other stuff? And Trey Ferg is here too if he wants to come up. But what other stuff?
I was gonna talk about the narratives. And are they harmful? Yes. But yeah, it's quite well, I'll just give an example. The one y'all said, this is what a real man is. A man does this. A man. People who are telling you that, just no. Most of the time.
But what is it then? What is it?
A man is a man.
Yeah.
But how can I explain it? People will tell you stuff that they're not, and they'll even make money off of it. We's real men. We do this. And then you find out no, we don't. We's rich. We make money. They made $100,000 for the first week. Go find people making 98 and less. Y'all ain't doing it right. We's real man. No.
Okay.
Just got married a week ago. Y'all people ain't doing it right. Or they're not even that, and they just saying this is what a man is, and they still trying to figure it out themselves. And then you find out later, hey man, won't that you over there, bro? That was you, wasn't it? No, we see blah 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 blah. No, that was you. Right? There's an identity crisis. Most people, or a lot of people, I'll just say it this way: most people got low self-esteem. They look in the mirror, they don't see the person that they're supposed to be, want to be, need to be, should be. Could be childhood. They were told their whole life, how come you won't be like your brother? Shamed. So their identity wasn't accepted. Their friends, man, look at them clothes. And they internalize it for some reason. So they're going and trying to figure out who they're supposed to be. Or they got their heart broke. Or they could have been lied to. Remember growing up hearing the conversations, my brother, all you got to do, once you got that degree in your hand, my brother, all you got to do is walk out there and hold it up. They're going to give you 3 houses, 4 women, and a dog and 8 kids. They're going to hand it to you on a silver platter. The doors is going to open.
Right.
Well, there's 23 and it happens. They got the degree. They go out there and they say, yeah, get the hell up out of my office. I don't know you. So they're mad and they got identity crisis. So now they're mad at everybody. Or somebody told me I was going to get all these ladies, and the ladies looked at them and said, no, sorry. We want ugly men. So they got an identity crisis. So everybody hates everybody, hate themselves. Or, so it's just a hateocracy. Carry this person, tack this one, tack that one. And I ain't gonna lie, I take my own shot sometimes. But I mean, I'm a troll. Come on. Nothing personal, nothing real. Just jokes.
Right.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm sorry. I was going to ask, because I was going to throw in a question to what you're saying. At the end of the day, whatever title these people have, whatever title we choose to call ourselves, is it still a male and a female?
That stuff, I don't know. I'm more talking about the men attacking the men, or the women talking like a real man, or you ain't meeting the standard. You ain't a part of this fake country club.
But what if you cannot keep your job or something like that? If you're like, I don't know about that stuff, but you have to know about that stuff. You have to sign on this dotted line,
Okay. You make a business decision.
Right. You make a decision. Yep. Either I go that route or I don't go that route.
If you work for somebody or you have your own business or whatever, you navigate in this world, you can conform, you can compete, comply, or you can move on or do something else. Make a decision. Somebody comes and tells me, hey, dude, we need you to turn into a woman for this job. Sorry, that's not for me. I can't help you. They say, hey, sign this paper saying you acknowledge that people are gay. Sure. Here you go. There are people who you work with. They're going to be others and whatever. Communicate with them or don't. Find a way to navigate what it is to get what it is that you want or need, or move on.
Okay. So now you already have the job. So go ahead, Coach.
Well, okay. I'll also say really quickly that what if you acknowledging that there is male and female, not gender stuff, I'm talking sex, that makes you a T-phobe. And you are, and that is now the identity they are putting on you.
Learn how to communicate and play it. Learn how to communicate and play the game. Play to win. It's really that.
Play to win. Yeah.
That's simple, but not simple. If you work a job where there's a gay mafia ganging up on you in the hallway, you gonna say this. You probably don't want to work there if you have a problem with it. You should probably get another job. But it's not, is it really so serious where you can't go to the parking lot of your job, but they're gonna come, hey man, come here. Penis. Is that really what's going on? Or
no, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. But you know what is going on?
The way they make HR department. Oh, go ahead. The narrative.
I was just saying that's not what's going on. It's not as much as what's going on. I think that's more fear talk and blah, blah, blah. But what is going on in reality is HR is changing policies. Companies are changing policies that will impact your money. And you say, well, just go get another job. Okay, cool. But on your way out to get another job, since you didn't subscribe, I'm not talking about if you need to be gay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you have to accept trans. What I'm saying is because you are not going along with the new narrative, then you are deleted. You don't count. You don't matter. And we'll make sure when you leave, in your jacket is going to say how much you don't value. You're not worth any value anymore. So can you even get another job?
I'll put it this way. I believe that's a narrative. The narrative that's being pushed as soon as you show up to the job. Hey, what's your name? And then there's 15 people in the hallway, gay. And they stuff it down your throat and you can't focus on your job. That is not true. There are some people who you're going to work with that are gay. Just like you want your son to be in the NFL, guess what? Some of them are gay and they're in the NFL and they're in the locker room. Coaches, stands, but that's cool. Oh,
Right.
yeah, because they're giving you money. It's cool then. But
What if
then when
you're
you show up at the
Christian?
job, it's a problem. Okay, guess what? In the Bible, they were gay.
No, I'm saying if they think that I'm a, and I've actually, this is anecdotal, but even though you haven't said, hey, you are this person, so I'm going to treat you differently, they haven't said that, but they did, espouse Christian, their Christian beliefs, whatever. And so that means now they cannot work for this company or whatever.
You get somebody else. They can't work here.
Right. So I hear what you're saying that,
As a
these
Christian,
things
I got an employee who says, I can't work somewhere because somebody's gay in here. Did they really want that job?
No, not like that.
Because they
I'm
went
saying
to go eat at the buffet and somebody was gay to serve them food. They didn't have a complaint with that.
no, I'm
Right.
saying the gay person had the issue with the Christian.
And what was the problem?
That they were a Christian, so that means that they didn't like their I almost said homophobic. That's not the right word. They didn't like homosexuals. This was actually in HR.
Okay. And I've worked HR. I've done employee relations. Yeah. Here's the deal. What was the conversation? What's documented? What can you prove? And how's the argument? But a person saying, a person walks up, hey, I'm a Christian and you're gay. I don't like you. Does that person really want their job that much? Not really. They're not trying to work.
Yeah. They're not trying to work. I get that. I'm talking about the ones who are working.
They'll be out of here in 6 months.
I'm talking about the ones who are working. I'm talking about the ones who've been there not 6 months. They've been there 16 years.
They're not going to make the year 17.
Correct. And are you saying that's fair? And I'm not talking about because if they accept gay or not. I'm not talking about if they accept. I'm talking about we have made a change that you do not belong, you won't be a part of. And even if you say, I don't care, I'm minding my business. I'm minding my business, but because you represent power, because you represent influence, because you represent that, you actually know how to be quiet and you know how to speak up, but you pose a threat. You pose a threat. So now we're going to change the system to help reduce you. We can't do anything to you, the person, because you are who you are. But I'm going to change the system to make it to where you don't matter, regardless if you believe in gay or not. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about losing your identity because someone just flipped a switch in the middle of the night.
Huh.
Are you communicating right now, Scam?
Okay. We're already in what if land. But what is this? We're going to restrict your power. Huh?
Oh, so you probably hadn't hit your job yet, but when I'm talking about the people who, if you don't subscribe. Now, again, I'm talking about people in the industry of psychology. So psychologists, professors, doctors who've been in the business forever, and because they're not playing along, they're not helping the industry that's going to offer a lifetime medication, because they're not agreeing to make sure that you now have a new lifelong customer, because once you make this particular change, it's going to impact you for the rest of your life. Even if you change it back, it's still going to impact you for the rest of your life. And if I don't play ball, I can lose my license. The license that I worked hard to work with teenagers, the license that I worked hard to work with the elderly, the license that I worked hard to do whatever it is that I'm going to do, I can lose that because of industry, a market of people, money, or those who say this is the way it should be and the only way it's going to be, and I could just take your license away. Are you saying that's okay? And I should just be like, okay, you take the license, thank you.
All right. What I'm trying to ask is, what is it that they're asking you to do?
But that's a great question, because it's not even an ask. It's not even an ask.
Yeah.
These last 6 months when I've been talking to people, I didn't ask that direct question. Right. I didn't ask that. That's a very good question. I wish I even thought of it. I didn't ask what were they trying to ask you, but none of them were asked anything. They weren't asked anything. They were already playing ball.
I can't answer the question if I don't know what they're asking or telling you to do what to do. I don't know what they're telling you to do.
Okay,
All I
so
can tell you is to say yes or no.
let's use this one. You were raised with a certain belief on what your job is at a job. I hear BMU every once in a while say, you know, if something happened at the mall, it's just his instinct to take off. Boom. So what if he does that and he jumps in to help, and then he actually took the person down, the person at the mall, whatever, spraying at the mall, and BMU just goes berserk, turns into the Tasmanian devil, one of them big Tasmanian devils, and he'd take the person out. And then when he gets to court, the people the lives that he saved, they're outside the courtroom saying, thank you. And you get in the courtroom and they say, yeah, you know what you did, the rights of the one spraying everyone up there, you hurt their feelings, you hurt their rights, and you are going to jail. Huh? Yeah, and you are going to be put on blast. It wasn't because the person turned. You know, I know the laws where if you turn and you shoot him in the back, you are no longer in danger. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he's facing the drama and he takes it out. But the law says, this new law says, oh yeah, you are going. There was no question.
Even
He's
like
going
Good
to jail.
Samaritan, some places don't have a Good Samaritan law. So if somehow you help someone and they still die, like you're liable type of thing.
Yeah. We know people who stop doing CPR, like you're not gonna make it. Because if you're gonna sue me because I accidentally broke your rib when I'm trying to save you. What's up, Trey? I'm gonna go ahead and respond. What's up, Trey? Ferg, go on and respond. Scan, what are you gonna say?
If the what ifs get to the point where it's all what if this, because we can what if this, what if it's man, what if it's, it gets to the point, you know what? Just lock yourself in the garage.
That's exactly
because I don't know what.
Lock yourself in the garage.
Yeah.
If you can't, I mean, all you can do is live, make the best decision possible. If you can't critically think, be political, and navigate a situation, if you're a ticking time bomb where I smell somebody that's gay 400 miles away, and you go over there, ain't nothing nobody could have done for you anyway. You're done.
Right.
You really think, Stan, that you're being honest, though, that that's actually what's going on out here?
Partially.
Okay.
Would you be willing to pull up your government name and have these conversations? Would you be willing to do that?
What's the incentive?
No, just what you wouldn't be willing to. You wouldn't be that foolish.
I wouldn't pull up my government. I wouldn't pull up my government name to have a conversation about basketball.
Right, because you wouldn't be that foolish. So now imagine you did everything you did to protect yourself, and you weren't really disrespectful to no one. You weren't disrespectful to anyone. And regardless if you use your government name or not, you were on the show. And when they were talking crazy and you were just sitting there like a bobblehead like this, we consider that to be, it's not the type of environment we want where we know you would sit there and you didn't stop the show. And all of a sudden you're homeless.
You're complicit, yeah.
All right, well, I'm out. Hey, I'm out. I'll be out of here. The what ifs are getting to the point where what if I'm left-handed?
Correct. But we're not talking what ifs, we're talking about the real thing. You're stuck in the what ifs.
Then you're just done. It's a wrap. But you can't live in what ifs.
Correct. The guys I've been interviewing over the last 6 months, these guys weren't in what ifs. But I hear what you're saying. They weren't living in what ifs.
No, literally, just being honest, I almost don't understand it's almost like a vague what if without an actual real scenario. I don't even know. Something to do with gay. Something to do with rules that I can't see. I don't know what the scenario is. And what if it happens?
No.
I don't know.
Please take the gay word out, because it's not about the gays anymore. It's about this entire movement that we can change a narrative, regardless if it's gay, straight, trans, bluefish, yellowfish. We can change a narrative and change how it impacts your identity. Anything. For any reason, not just if you believe in gay or not. If the institution, ABC, CBS, all these places that have been bringing in producers that say, yes, we finally have more Black producers. Yes. And then what do you want? We want more Black shows. Okay, got it. That makes sense. When Obama was president, what they say, we want him to make more laws and protect more for Black people. That makes sense. So if you bring in someone who's LGBT of all that, and you say, yes, we are now in position of power and let's bring our people in. That makes sense. But then when you sweep, so now I'm going to jump on your bandwagon. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, you go back to the 60s, and when those news channels start catching people getting beat, when they start catching those black people getting beat, and all of a sudden the laws changed, the black people have been getting beat for decades. There wasn't a single law that changed. When they got caught on camera, it wasn't no black person that went down there and changed the law. It was someone else that caught it on camera and said, woo, we should make a movement and we should do this. And all of a sudden some laws changed. But it wasn't because of the power of that black man. That black man was getting his ass whooped. And it was someone else behind the camera who was benefiting, saying, we should do, now that we see. So there were some people legitimately making changes. And there were people who were saying, wow, look at this opportunity. I'm talking about the people who are saying, this is the movement that we're doing, and you will get steamrolled if you're not part of the movement. Not a gay movement, a movement.
Doc,
yes.
Those same people you talk about, they still pushing the same type of rhetoric that we see. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. But here's the thing. I know you spoke about suicide rates. You know, it really wasn't documented before the 70s and the 60s. And tell me if I'm wrong, and I know, you know, people of color live all over the country and we can tell stories about our families. There's no way that black men were committing suicide with each other. We couldn't fight Jim Crow and go kill ourselves. No, we had too much life. We had too much life. We were, you know, despite all this bad stuff that's going on, all of this really didn't turn like this into, you know, the crack era. The crack era. Feminism, it's a simple look back. You go to the 60s, 70s, black people were strong, struggling together. It was a family atmosphere, whether you had a father, whether you was raised by an auntie, grandmother. Not all cases. It was only about 20%. I'll take an 80%. It wasn't 50, 60, 70% of black people out here just abusing each other, and, you know, father didn't want the kid and mothers out here in the streets. It wasn't, y'all mamas and grandmamas wasn't out there slanging their coochie like these girls are throwing it all over the place today. Forget all that. It changed. Scam, you shaking your head. I know you're about 40, so you was that baby. That's why y'all struggle with it. It's a simple thing. The things that happened before us, our time, man, we can't go back. Slavery affected everybody in a sense. Only thing you got to do now as a young man, if you want to break that cycle, now's the time to focus on self. Doctor, you spoke about how some things, and I want to ask you a question. Was it some of your life and some people you know or clients you serve life that you spoke about? Because I thought you said something a little personal about yourself.
I was putting my stuff in there too, because I've been advocating for. I've been saying, hey, you can still come to my office. I've been down the middle of the road. And then I've been saying the last few months how some sisters, some black women who I'm like trying to look out for, who like, yeah, I'm like, why did you? Only to find out they were encouraged. And it's like, wow.
But that's part of it. But that's all out of that is just part of the disenfranchising, because, you know, as a man and woman, we should be together. We know that that's our true nature, that our true destiny. And now everybody may not believe that if you live that lifestyle. And if you choose that lifestyle, you have to you have to do two things. You have to live it righteous. And then when I look at the people who live that lifestyle, especially in the African American, most of them are not rich. Those that are in power are not going to let those people that live that lifestyle get up to the top. And they be able to explore a little bit, show a little crazy stuff, but that confuses the nature of the young child. That confuses the nature of the next generation. Man, this is a rabbit hole, because that time, if you go back to that time, you can do any studies up into the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, when crack came in these neighborhoods and wiped these it was some young studs out there. A lot of them was killed through the drugs. The police killed a lot. Things changed. Now let's go back. Jim Crow. Jim Crow, not even did the police kill you. The citizens killed you. They had lynching parties. Good family members was taken, and they still managed to own some property, own a home, raise 12 kids, grandkids, kids that we was foster care before those that in power ever thought of being foster care. They never foster care. That's why when they go up, the higher you get up on their ladder, their family gets smaller. They ain't got a whole bunch of cousins. They got the first generation, and if you can't marry out the generation, you better marry somebody in that realm. But America, we living in America. We Black living in America. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? We all got a sad story. We all got some trauma, but we all still here. It's not a lot, a whole lot of, change for the last 30 years. It's not. It's not a whole lot of change. Now people are looking to this entrepreneur, which is also a setup, because to be an entrepreneur, you got to be able to communicate with people across the spectrum. Black, Asian, you know what I'm saying? People spending $10,000 going to travel and sit out on the beach. Why don't you take that $10,000, go over, find that man who's making those products on that brick stump and see if you can cut a deal with him, and he can go first class, straight, cut out the middleman. Then you can grow a business. Women spending $20,000. It's so crazy. When did they ever thought we'll see a woman spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on their cakes, on their booty? Come on, man. Are we that gone out here? I mean, we cut out
leave a family.
We gotta listen. We gotta come together. Take out crack. Take out heroin off the streets. Take it off the streets. We can't have marijuana and then all them drugs. Take it off the streets. Let everybody start with a clean slate. Go forget if you was in the game and you got some family members, man, go apologize. Just go apologize with each other, because we need the brothers back to be brothers, not the back with the sisters. We need the brothers to be the brothers. You know what I'm saying?
No, instead we're gonna legalize the weed. We're gonna legalize it and say it's recreational.
Are we doing it? Now we are doing it. This is the way I say we are doing it. If we don't come together and say no, we're allowing it to happen. You got it. But if we come together and say no, they have to change the dynamics of it. We can take the power back for the women, because the women are running wild right now, and they're gonna allow them to just go out and have La La Land body counts with whoever. Now, who wants to spread all those germs around? You have to move a little different in America now. It takes $10,000 more today than it did 4 years ago to live the same life. Now, you got $10,000 to keep blowing out here, then you ain't gonna help yourself as you get older. When y'all get gray, y'all gonna wish y'all could relax, but you gotta settle down, man. Go settle down with somebody you don't know. It's easy.
Let me pause for a quick moment. Give a couple shout outs. We have What We Know podcast is in the house, and a couple of other names I saw up there. I just wanted to give a shout out and welcome to the Blackman Unfiltered Network. And I didn't want to cut you off, Faye, but I want to make sure that we're still kind of staying within the realms of the conversation. And I do say, for the time of when crack was introduced, each plan, each generation, each kind of master plan, because at the end of it, when we come back together, oh damn, that plan didn't work. And I don't mean someone sitting there just trying to really destroy, but each time we've had some catastrophe, each time we found a way to come back together. What a masterful plan if you can then break up men and women and then say no children. If you can separate the family, so now you separated the family. But see, even in crack days, you still had gay, lesbian, or whatever. You still had LGBTQ, but then we still were fighting together against crack. And then, if a person knows that they'll suck some dick for some crack for $20 and you don't have it, and so you had this straight dude who said, never in a million years would I let, and then now I'm going to degrade. That whole degrading thing, the whole argument right now about wearing a dress in Hollywood, all that degrading. Someone actually loves to see the men broken. And in the last 6 to 9 months, when I've been interviewing people, elderly men who won't delete themselves, who just kind of rotting out their days, but they're gone. And then they don't have their great-grandkids coming to see them. They don't have their grandkids coming to see them. They're just gone and independent. And then the ones who have money, how vulnerable are they to the vultures who are going to come in and say, damn, you don't have no family taking care of you? And all of a sudden now I'm going to take your rights because I think you have so-and-so kind of illness. I'm going to take your rights. So now fentanyl and different things are the popular drug. And that's going to do its damage, and it's going to change, and people will come back together, and something new is going to come and change. But I wanted to stick true to the idea of how do we keep our sanity? How do we know? I'll even go with what you're saying, Scam. How if you take my job, you take whatever. See, like me, I have my degree. You take my job, I take my degree with me. You didn't give me my degree, I take my degree with me. Whatever skills I'm doing for your company, I go do for another company. So I get that. But when there's psychological warfare, because when you fuck this up here, this piece here, you can go wherever you want with your degree. You just be sitting there stuck on stupid. Because I fucked this up so much you can't even function.
Right. When I was talking about the narratives, all the way from the beginning, that's where the psychological warfare really happens. Childhood, the people growing up, how they grow up, what they're thinking, the shame and the blame and the neglect,
so let's say that happened.
Improper communication.
I don't want to stay in that spot forever. You're right. Let's say it happened. So they got shamed, and now you come in with this whole new and wipe it out. And we can blame who did what, but now we're saying, okay, we messed it up. If that's the case, we messed it up. But you mean we messed it up so much that now you're trying to convince me on what a cow is? We did that. We messed it up that much. The generation before me messed it up that much that the generation after me, so not me, my generation messed me up, and then I messed up my generation, and then the next generation is gonna come in and tell you that's not a cow with 4 legs. That's really just a tabletop with the 1 leg, but it looks like 4 based on the dimension that it is. You're right, Scam. That's some major fuckery. And so now we're just gonna stand there and all agree that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not a cow. Because of the boomer age or the so-and-so, I told you so, because of that stage, we're no longer a cow. What? That didn't even make sense.
That wasn't what I said.
Okay. What are you saying?
But honestly, proof is in the pudding. And I wasn't blaming the generation. But that's the dust out attack Trey on another panel about that. But me and him already had that battle 15 times. It's no point. But what I'm saying is, if there's an 8-year-old who thinks he's a cow, somehow it got into his brain. Some parent, some grandparent, somebody. That's what it is. There's a 28-year-old dude who says, I love some menses. That's what it is.
Wait, so the kid is a cow then?
No, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying that is the kid. If that's what it is, and this is what people are doing, that is what people are doing. You can go back generations, because they all the older generation, I don't like older beating up on younger or younger beating up on older. It's really dusty, no matter up, down the scales. The first person throwing the stone is usually the dusty one. At the end of the day, generations are different. That's what they are. They have pros and they have cons. Older beating up on younger just shows, hey, you mad at the very leadership that you created. And don't say all crack babies, because heroin was around in the 70s. And y'all was watching it happen. But the younger don't beat up on the older, because at the end of the day, there's something you can learn. They were fighting for life and to be called by their name instead of, hey, boy. They were fighting for their life, while youngsters are fighting against women over talking points. So there's dust to go all up and down, left, right, whatever. My generation, all generations. That's the junk. But the narratives do nothing but put people over there battling the junk. So from the narratives, like, hey, Trey Ferg, who are you? I'm scam likely. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. Can we work together? Yes or no? If it's no, cool. Hey, Doc, what you do? Oh, you do therapy? I'm a troll. An intellectual troll, but I'm a troll. Can we work together? Almost like a Venn diagram. In the middle, there's the things that we can agree on and we can work on. Then there's other stuff we may not agree on so much. Okay. I'm not going to be doing shows about LBG2. Hey, that's for somebody else to do. Or Black history, that's not my thing. But I can learn from you on this. So, hey, let's work on this. I got something to offer you here. You got something to offer me there. May not agree on everything, but we can take a little bit of pieces. And yes, we're all beat up, jacked up, whatever we done been through in life, but we can take those little pieces and try to work together on something. That's just a suggestion that people can do. Or
Correct.
some of it can be dust, honestly. It's entertaining. We can have a full-out dust panel, roast each other. But the more it's beating up, swinging the narratives, calling people, you ain't a real man because you can't change oil in a 6.8 liter engine. Dude, you 418 pounds. You can't lift the damn tire anyway. I mean, that's not productive. So it's entertaining, but it's going to be, then it's the same thing. The men's, the women's, the gays, the men's, the women's, and it goes in the same circle, circle. But no one learned anything. They actually started to learn. The 18-year-old who's watching from the sky in the gym somewhere, he's listening, he's hearing, oh, this what the older generation act like? This what the Gen X? This is these, you know what? Or the women, they're like, no, I'm joining the Nation of Wigwam. Forget this. I'm safer over there. Or at least I know who they are. But this?
Right. So let me ask you this, because I hear you still, it appears you're still stuck on the gay part. So Bubs the God, I've been on his channel a few times, and I'm saying, hey, no, I don't want you shooting at me no more than I'm trying to shoot at you. Boom.
Hold on. You said I'm stuck on the gay part?
Because I keep hearing you talk about the gay, the men's, and the women's. So I want to say, let's say we've all joined forces. So because like I'm saying, I'm not here to judge gay, trans, whatever. What I'm saying is we both are waking up to the new law. We are both waking up, man to man, hearing, not men with men. I'm talking about we both waking up. Damn, you mean you're not this anymore? Damn, you mean that's not the way it is anymore? We're all waking up, no matter what role we are, no matter how we identify, we're waking up to these new rules to the point where it used to be where you protect kids. And I'm not talking about trans and the kids. I'm talking about to now where you can see the 9-year-old rapper. And so even the trans people are like, damn, that's a 9-year-old rapper. Like even the white people are like, wow, that's a 9-year-old. Even the black people. So we are all now at the stage. And when I say all, not everyone, but what I mean is, it goes across the board that we are now okay with the 9-year-old holding a 9mm. Somebody going to take people out and take people out. We're okay with the 4 or 5-year-olds shaking their butts. Remember when we grew up saying, if I have a daughter, I will beep, 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 beep to somebody if they ever did it to my daughter, And yes, there have always been men my grandpa, we've always been men who've taken advantage, but they're going younger and younger and younger and younger. And why is that okay?
So, Doc, you mean? I'm sorry.
That's questions to me.
Anybody.
Oh, well, I'll just say this: the gay part, I didn't bring it up because I was bringing up narratives, and then somehow it got to gay. But I was responding to the question that you had asked. Then it got to what if. I don't know how it got. I'm just saying, not answer the questions, but here's the deal: sin. All the corruption, money scams, dust, crust, and everything you can think of has been here since the beginning of time. It's not leaving. Whatever religion you believe, the earth is going to be the opposite. I don't know the other ones, but since the beginning of time, there's going to be a fight between angels and demons. Pick your lane, grab your weapon, or don't, because we have freedom of choice. That's all you can do, or what you decide to do. But I can't say that I'm the whole responsible black messiah or whatever, and I'm going to gather the troops and I'm going to fight and I'm going to change. No, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. There's going to be some more jacked up stuff. Next year is probably going to be worse. It might get better, worse. I'll just do my part. That's what I can do.
Correct. As long as you can. Because even Trey Ferg, when you're talking about dropping the crack, that's intended to destroy the mind. So yes, I agree with you.
Right. My mind hasn't been destroyed.
What you can for as long as you can, but once they figure out how to infiltrate your mind.
They haven't got me yet, but I see the minds they're infiltrating. I'm watching it happen, and it's utterly disgusting.
So Coach K, I want to ask you a question and get some information. You said something earlier about the language that they're changing, and you call it something. What is that called? You said it's something.
I said herd immunity.
Yeah, herd immunity. So it's really just trying to push everything to one side or one view to say this law is changing. So now they're trying to infiltrate this alphabet community in a language to where you have to allow people just to be fluid in whatever that they are without even identifying it.
Well, that could be one thing, but really it was during the and I try to be careful with the words, but you know, during the vid, you know what I'm talking about?
You said bid?
Of the COVID.
19.
Okay, COVID or something? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it during that time?
Yeah, so during that time,
Okay.
they changed the definition of herd immunity. So herd immunity is when, you know, most like when people will all get a virus or whatever, and it basically creates a gosh,
Like
now I don't
identifier? It's like an identifier or something?
like a resistance to the thing, because the herd, it's like a scientific thing. So the
Right.
you know the group got the virus, whatever, but they had changed the definition in the middle of that time. So now, so I was using that as an example of how these words, like me and Dr. Nakumbe, he was sharing a story about, well, what does misogynist mean now? And I said, well, I think the actual definition means when you hate women, like all women, because they're women. But now, you know, Dr. Nakumbe, what the guy was called a misogynist for?
Because he was opening doors and looking out for women.
Yeah.
He's misogynistic. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
He was identified, or was that like sort of a law now? Like changed it? You can't do that.
No law, but they were saying it's hurtful to the job place. They were telling this elderly man who's been at this job for 15 years that because of his polite ways, that's cool, but we don't need you doing that stuff. And if you continue to do it, it's really hurting the environment, because you know the women don't like that. They feel less than.
So you couldn't provide a courtesy in that way anymore.
Correct.
It's like the Overton window is basically what the culture or society finds acceptable. It's not technically laws or whatever, but so like some of these things are now shifting, and America as a whole, even like just across different communities, you could say Black community, white community, whatever, are being impacted by what is now deemed acceptable and what isn't.
So what they're doing, they're just creating a whole big pot of mess, really, because there'll be no definition. Anybody could claim this, and Correct. It seemed like it's really going to only affect the poor people again. It's not going to affect those that are in power, creating this sort of dynamic, really, because if you work in that profession, you're going to have to walk a thin line because they're trying to get this, Dr. spoke on this fluidity, life into it. People, protect yourself. Find you a mate if you can. If not, just pray to God and hopefully that you can be safe. And if you're going to be out here living, protect yourself of all costs, because if they create this dynamic, forget about the LGBTQ. You better worry about your friend that you thought, because Doc spoke about, if you can get it, if somebody can get into your mind based off an idea that they want to push, they can actually mess with your psyche and your financial stability. Man, leave that stuff alone. Man. Get away from that shit. That's just the devil. Get away from it. Get away from it.
So you work a job for 15 years and you've been helping people, and they don't say, hey, here's a retirement gift. They say, well, you need to leave the job, and we're going to put in your work jacket that you are creating a hostile work environment. Because
that hurts brothers in Dayton. You can't even take a woman that they don't want to go nowhere. You can't even pull a chair out. You can't even offer to buy it. Everybody is every man for himself. So
right. So the psyche. Can you imagine my jacket has been clean for decades or whatever? You know, maybe a late tardy, whatever, for clean. But now you're going to terminate and let me go, and then add on my jacket disrespectful workplace attitude, harassment, and all these different things, because you were saying, hey, young lady, yeah, they don't go by that anymore. That's harassment.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. Welcome to the show, Mandrell and Grooming and Reviews. Welcome everyone to the Blackman Unfiltered Network.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, everyone.
Just so you know, Coach K and I are going to be about another we already passed our little 2-hour window, so we thank you, CBN, for still being here. And thank you, everyone who's swinging through. See, Mr. and Mrs. He said, we're here. Lady Nevo was in the house. Embrace the grace. Hey, what's up? Is in the house. And a few others are welcome for swinging through. And if you have not, please hit the like button. We are talking tonight about, because sometimes if you've been listening for a while, may have lost where we're at. But tonight we're talking about changing the narrative, the impact of it, the impact. So now what we used to do for kids, parents, well, they're my friends because I want to make sure that I don't say, because I said so, because I said so. I want to stay away from that because we realize the damage from that has hurt people. So now we swung so far to say, well, let's just be their friends. And before, where you didn't want to show your boobs or whatever because, whoa, get out of here, give me a towel. And now you can just be totally naked. And I'm not talking about the countries or even here in America. I'm not talking about the places where your housing is set up to where you're right there in front of each other. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about total, like, let the little kids see. Now, I'm not talking about the man manipulation of like, make that, no, don't stop. No, I don't care who walks by, keep going, don't stop. But they're going to hear me gagging, keep gagging, bitch. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are allowing, because that's my little buddy. And so we've gone so far now to change the narrative that the people who say, whoa, 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 hey, little kid, you shouldn't be out there. Don't talk to my motherfucking kid like that. Oh, I was trying to help. Yeah, don't help. And then, okay, maybe you're going to do it. My bad. No, they don't do it. We've gone that far with the changing of the narrative, and we're okay with it. But I'm saying the impact. Now, you may all have known it differently, but I've been now studying. So the last year or so, I've been doing the research to talk to people. And then when it hit me personally, I had to go back to say, wait a second. I talked to a couple elderly people who I'm talking about, you can't tell me after 50 years to say he and she and they, and I've been wrong. I have to, and then tell me I have to unlearn. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. Like I'm adjusting, because we can adjust. When you tell someone even older and older and older that they are wrong for what they've been believing in, and you change the definition of words where they say, no, give me a dictionary. I can show you this thing has been the. Oh, I don't know what that one is there. Let me what is the little gizmo you got there? Let me try a little gizmo. Now, what do you talk to it? The Siri. Well, how you do it? Hey, you say it. What is the definition of boom? Oh, I don't know what that is. And because now I don't know what that is because it's been changed, and then to tell me I'm the fool and I'm the idiot. That's what we're talking about tonight.
Who's going first?
What was the question?
Nope, that's just what we're talking about. There's not a question. I appreciate that.
Okay, good.
There's not a question. I'm saying that's some experience that I've had, and I wanted to bring it to the show to say, hey, in my research is what I'm coming across, people who are losing their mind. And when I say losing their mind, their identity has been changed. When you hear about a person working a job for 10 years and they get laid off or fired, when you hear about people retiring and then they are dead within the next year because they lost their sense of purpose. We talk about people in the military, Coach K, we were talking about the military, how you serve, and you get an injury and they still want to come back because once this is gone and you start changing and impacting people's identity, who I am, who I've always been. I'm not talking about the gender role. I'm talking about who I am as a person. And then you tell me, gaslighting me, that's not, yeah, and then mobster, bullying, gangster, that's not, ooh. That's what I'm talking about.
Doc, if I can for 1 second here, I personally believe that your job can also destroy you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
you become your job, is that what you mean? Like
that one, if you're working like crazy hours, like I do, and hang on 1 second, sorry, I have an echo here, and you work so many hours to the point that your job becomes hostile. Like I worked at a kitchen that people threw plates at us, legit plates, and you're playing dodgeball with plates. It doesn't go that well. Trust me. You change as a person really fast.
Yeah, man. Bro, I got folks who are gonna be listening to the show, and I don't want to hear all that snorting and shit, man. If you can't mute yourself when you snort, I mean, I'm not trying to snort police. I'm not trying to police you, but for real, that's snorting shit, man. That's if you can't mute yourself.
Why are you changing the narrative? Okay,
I'm not.
Right.
I'm
The
calling
narrative
on. I'm calling it on.
Then his internet froze.
And I'm saying,
right.
yeah, and you may not see it that way. I'm saying it's rude. If I'm asking for, all right, thank you.
I give you the courtesy, Doc. Not a
All right.
problem.
Grooms over there now. They throw the plate at you.
Scam. Brain scam. Shit.
Anyway, you were saying, Doc?
No, I was asking you. So you said they throw the plates. Now my thing is throwing the plates at you, messing with you, changing kind of how the job functions. That's part of what Scam was saying. Things are going to change. Deal with it. A radical acceptance. I get that. I'm talking about the type of change. You know, companies close. Mom and pop shops have been open for decades and they close. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's an identity change. But because we couldn't keep up, we didn't maintain, we didn't make the right money moves, we didn't invest right, times have changed. We don't even shop at the stores anymore. We shop online. So there's people who are building all that, stocking all that inventory. If you did Amway, they told you put all that LOC soap in your house and you got all that shit stocked up in your house, and now they're doing it online. That's a business thing. That's a shift with the world. But when you're told you failed because you don't understand, you can work with that. When you told you failed because you didn't count, you didn't matter, you weren't real, huh? I'm a little confused. That's a damn hard pill to swallow. Tell me I fucked up doing business. Yeah, damn. Tell me I'm fucked up because I'm fucked up. Like you didn't know all this time that they is the pro. Huh? You didn't understand that 2 + 2 is equal really 7? What? Now I get it. Math these days, the Chinese math is different, but identity is what I'm talking about. So the plate throwing and stuff, unfortunate. I hope you didn't get hit. But at the end of the day, you were still whatever you were, I'm assuming.
Well, let's put it this way. He regretted it afterwards. I can't say too much out loud.
Yeah. And that's part of how it goes. You disrespect me or you do whatever, and I'm going to respond. We get to the point where you're going to disrespect me, and I can't respond. I'm not allowed because I'm told I am wrong. These men who I interviewed who've done it for so long, the rules change. Got it. But you said I just said, hey, sweetie, and that was bad. Yeah, that's not the South. My bad. The African men who come over, and in Africa, at their jobs, they can actually look at the woman and be like, God damn, I want to fuck you. And they come here to America and like, whoa, we don't do that here. Oh, my bad. Well, see, there's that give and take. Learn, change. Learn, change. But then when there's a learn and you're not allowed to go with the change, you don't have a choice. That changes things.
Like I could use an example, like me coming from Greece, and like when I first came, and I mentioned this on the gray area, when I first came, my dress attire was different. Back then in the 90s, you know, baggy pants were the hottest thing. You know, the Nikes, you know, wearing the sweatband around your wrist, you know, that was the shit back then. And I was the Thor's thumb out. Like you say black sheep, put me right there as a black sheep, right there, 1-1-1. And it took me a while to actually even let my parents, because I was young still at the time. You know, my parents were like, listen, you're not wearing that stuff, that's a little inappropriate, yada yada. To take me to convince them, oh my God, it took forever.
So I'm gonna spin in narratives.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess the question is, why do people choose to do it so much? Out of convenience.
I
mean, like you know, people know that they're spinning in it. There's some people who spin narratives not realizing they're doing it, but they do it just to win an argument. Point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, as opposed to saying, hey, you got a point, or hey, I might be wrong. They go on. And I think people here in this space call it moving the goalpost.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So My question is, what is it about that person that makes them just not want to admit that they're wrong and just change their behavior? Is it that they feel like they're losing control or what?
Why do they have to?
Well, if they're wrong, Coach K, it might benefit them to make a couple of changes or go in a different direction.
Yeah, I agree. But, at the same time, and this kind of goes off into a different thing, but if they're not going to, then it's like, there's so many people spend time wanting people to admit that they're wrong or to realize that they're wrong. But if they don't, then, why are we letting it affect, our moods and our sanity, I guess. You know what I mean?
Well, it might be a person that you work with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You may not, it might be a person like that. If that person, the person you work with, it could affect you directly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lost a job. I lost the only job I ever lost, like got fired for, was because a narrative. This one person spit the narrative in their head completely on their own. You know what I'm saying? Completely on their own. You look at my resume, you see I'm a veteran. You see this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, he must have PTSD. That was the narrative. Just completely. You have no clue whether I do it. No, I don't. I come to work. I say hello to people. I do my job. I go home. Never rude to anybody. Don't curse. None of that. Not late. Nothing. Never been written up. Nothing negative said about me the whole 9 yards. It's just out of the blue. You're like, well, here are the reasons why I'm doing it. Like, okay, these can't be the reasons. Why do you say that? Because literally everyone who's ever worked here has done this.
Right.
So you're gonna fire me. You're gonna fire me for something literally everyone else, including yourself, has done.
Mandrell. Of course, I don't have a job or nothing, but you already know I have a job, no money. I sold all my money, but.
You sold your money.
In theory, there's a person who looks like me that used to work in HR, and they took employee relations classes.
Right.
When I talk to people about playing the game, there's the white area, the black, and then there's the gray.
Mm-hmm.
In the white and black, there's stuff about veterans. There's stuff about it's not the protected closets, like what do you call them? Over 40, call people old. You can't do that. Can't call people Black, white, Jewish. You can't say those things. Those are straight discrimination. But there's still other things that lead to microaggressions that people can't do and can't say. Veterans fall into that other category. Meaning, how to explain it? They can't do that. And if you play the game the right way, you can win. I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha.
Especially if it's documented. Especially if it's said, recorded, and all that kind of stuff. You veteran people, you PTSD having people, actually, that's medical. And you have it documented. They can't do that. That's medical discrimination. That's in the protected clauses.
It was wild.
I don't know if you have PTSD or not, but if you have a document somewhere, that's when you start playing the gray. Now you start claiming, had to go get counseled every day. Whoa, my leg, my lungs, my brain, all medic. That's when you start playing the game and show them who can win in the gray area.
Right.
If you have the resources.
Yeah. Well, I'm just putting it out there how it is. But the main thing is know how to navigate the gray.
Nice.
Learn more about employee relations or something. Or if you don't, find the people who do. Know who those people are.
Right.
And I did a show. 3 of my shows were on professionalism. One was men and women's in the workplace. One was interviews. I forgot what the other was. Networking. Somewhere in all 3 of those, as an employee, if you plan on working, or even a business owner, because they can take your business out of here too. People say, well, I don't work for nobody. I work for myself. Yeah, they can shut that down too.
They sure can.
Actually, faster. But you need to know the gray area, how to navigate it, how to protect yourself, what to say, how to say it. That's a whole skill by itself.
Right. Now, if we can, because I love what you just said, Scam, and in fact, that's where I'm hoping we can close with, where we can add whatever positive, what Mandrell just said, as well. Whatever positives we can add to, like, if you find yourself dealing with this shift, change in narrative, and loss of identity. Because this stuff's been going around for decades. I mean, you know, people being accused of stuff, white and black dating, and all of a sudden he did something to her they didn't do. All this stuff's been going around forever, forever. There's always been blame, or you're no longer qualified. I'm talking about now, to the point where we're allowing not just the blame, but then even some future stuff. So like I said, now even with the kids, you can't parent them, but laws have been changing in child support and child protection and the DHS and all those have been changing forever. But to the point now where you can do less parenting. On one side of the coin, you can't parent the kid the way you want to. On the other side of the coin, the parent's not even doing anything. So I said, well, then whose fault? You know, that's a whole debate about whose fault it is. But when we get to the point where we're starting to lose this and we easily accept. I don't know who said it earlier in the chat. Someone said you got to put your warrior mode on. Shout out to you, whoever said that. I'm not even talking about violence. I'm talking about your warrior mind. This is something you have to protect. I know, Grooms, you talk about Sparta.
Yep.
And that whole Greek group that said, hey, there's only 300 of us. I'm just going off the movie, but I also know there was some truth to that, hey, we are going to go to the end.
History behind it is a real thing. King Leon's took his 300 men, and I'm going for a walk. I need my bodyguards, and held off the Trojans with 300 men. He died in the end, but he fought tooth and nail to the end.
Right. Okay. So what do we tell? I'll go first because I don't have to have the last word, because I want you all to be able to say what you need to say. But I am going to ask that when you do it, though, please, so we don't go into a long thing about it. But I just want to go first to kind of set the tone of what I'm talking about. If you start to lose your mind, first of all, let's go back to what's reality. Radical acceptance. It is what it is. If it's time to move on from that job, time to move on from whatever, time to move on with the language. We don't call it that anymore. That used to be called or whatever. Now it's called that. Radical acceptance. But when you're starting to question your own self, when you're starting to question, there are a couple of things to consider. Where are your values? Where are your standards? Where's your belief system? Yours. Because people can tamper with all the other external stuff, but don't let them tamper with what's yours. You might not be allowed to practice what you have, but don't allow them to tamper with what's yours. When you're starting to second guess, first of all, you probably need to look at that foundation. A lot of houses crumble, not because they were built with some weak wood, it's because the foundation was horrible. They just didn't know about it. So if you're starting to question yourself and starting to get shaky ground, please do reevaluate your foundation, what your beliefs, your values are, and do what you need to do to protect this up here. That's my 2 cents. What do you guys have? What do we do for people who are caught up in that system where it's a changed narrative and has impacted their identity? They done lost their goddamn mind. They done became friends with the kids now.
I can go first. Y'all may disagree, but a lot of the things that are being said are the very narratives. It's not a shot, but friends with the kids is a narrative. That's a narrative right there. Here's the deal. I'm gonna say it's the same thing I always say, but I'll add something else. Take care of your physical fitness. Take care of your mental health. Physical fitness affects your mental health. Work on your communication. Very things that we weren't taught how to do. Take care of ourselves and communicate with each other. Communication is the number one thing that humans do. That's why they gave us these brains. Though they jacked them up in our childhood and whatever, damaged, corrupted, whatever. But we have more resources. The very resources that people complain about are the same ones doing harm, are the same ones you can use to actually do some good. We got access to unlimited information. Unfortunately, you're going to have to sort through some junk because there are those narratives trying to tell you, no, it's like this. No, this is a man. This is a man. This is what's right. Or gloom and doom, you whoa, they're going to get you. Whoa, the peoples. Whoa. Sort through the junk. Get through it. It's just no. Go outside and try. But I can understand a lot of people have had their critical thinking damaged growing up. If you're beat half to death, all they were taught you to do, don't look left, don't look right, and don't ask why. Why is the most important question to everything, and they told you not to ask, which means you can't think for yourself. All you look for is 1, 2, 10. Everything in between is missing. Go back, see a therapist, do some more, have more conversations, find out why you are the way you are, the what that's all that's missing in between. Otherwise, you'll be a 1, 2, 10 man. You can't do any critical thinking, which affects decision making, and it affects the way that you parent, communicate with others. It takes time, it takes work, but hey, you got all your whole life. The other thing I was gonna say, it was important, and man, I forgot it. And it was important. Something I was gonna add.
It'll come back to you. You ain't been on that crack, have you?
No, I do diet crack now.
Right? Hey,
Old
that's
age.
another whole. Yeah, that's another whole story. I love what you said. Thank you. And please, with me, never worry about if pushback and respect and all that. That's I always say multiple perspectives. So
we're
I'm
good.
always
Conversation.
good.
I learn from you. You can learn from me. Cool. Or
Absolutely.
if you don't learn from me, I can still learn from you. Cool.
Both. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
What was it? Head on my mind. I forgot.
I know.
If it comes back to you, let us know.
Comes back to you. You can cut me off and still make your point. But I mean, the thing is, I've been doing it a long time. In this space now, telling people, ask why. No, you don't need to know why. Yeah, you do. Why do we need to know why, Mandrill? Because you don't know the why, then you don't have an answer. Yes, we do. It's yes or no. Yeah, but why is it yes or why is it no? You still don't know anything. You're just following directions. You talk about people being leaders, but a leader has to know why he's doing something. Why do I need to take these people up this hill? Why do I need to feed these people food? What kind of food do I need to feed them and why? Do they have allergies? What kind of, like you said, the two, you go from 1 to 10. That ain't good enough. Not if you presume to lead. It's a lot of work. So what? You know what I'm saying? Everyone in this space is so tough about everything. And the narrative is like, okay, the narrative of that is you're wishy-washy or you're sitting on the fence. I'm just like, no, you just don't understand what I'm saying. And that's cool. I'm willing to tell you, explain it to you, but you gotta want to hear the explanation. I don't want to hear the explanation, Madrill. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. You're trying to spin a narrative. They hit me with that, dog. What narrative? I just said you need to know why you want to. You need to explain to people why the answer is what it is. I mean, y'all don't think it's important. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. Somebody come get Mandrill. Mr. He said. No, but it's wild to watch the space. It's wild to watch people do these things. Like I was listening to you. It's a trip when you actually pay attention to people's behavior and you see it live in your face. It really is a trip. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it hits you from time to time when you want to watch these panels and stuff like that. I'm like, good Lord.
You get emotional, Andrew?
No, not emotional. It's just like it's like, yeah, he was right about this, he's right about that. It's just a trip to watch. And then when you try to help people, they just miss solutions and don't realize they're doing it.
They know.
You think so?
Yeah, but go ahead. I'll get into it later.
I don't know if I give them that much credit, but that's just me.
It's about 50-50.
But that's just me. I don't
know. A lot of
that
times they know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is a good one. The impact of harmful narratives. The whole thing of being. I don't believe in being your child's friend, but I do believe in being better parents than the ones we was raised by. You know what I'm saying? And if I have kids, I hope they go on to be better parents than I was. Like it's just like Dusso said. I come from a family of do what I say, not as I do. Do it because I told you to. But yes, why? Don't question me. Well, there you go. But then the contradiction is that my father used to walk around the house all the time telling us to think for ourselves.
And look at you. Look at you now.
Right? So like, think for yourself, son. Don't ever let anybody think for you. Shamarian, stay with you. Think for yourself. Think good. Don't question me. What?
Right on, Pops.
What are you talking about?
Right on, Pops.
No.
So
Yes.
No.
Yes.
applies to everybody else.
No.
You know why? Hold up, Scam. You know why I say that in Mandrell's case? Because Mandrell was raised by a father. He was raised by a father. And I can understand somebody who wasn't raised by a father wouldn't really understand it. Mandrell understands that more now than he ever did when he was young.
You missed the point, Trey. You missed the point.
Yeah, I understand what father was saying.
And I was raised by a father too.
I do understand. I do understand where it's coming from, but it's just to Dussel's point. Yeah, I was just saying, Dussel had a point. Like he made me think about this, like here and realize, like, yo, that was a big contradiction growing up.
Use your brain. He was telling
like, what do you? Use your brain.
No,
yeah,
they told us not to use our brain.
I took the lesson, but at the same time, don't question me. Stop asking questions. Wait,
you'll find out when you're ready.
Right,
no, you won't find out when you're ready.
Yeah, but
you won't know how to think.
Right, but then you tell me to not to not question you, but you told me to think for myself. Like, so where do we draw the line with this? You know what I'm saying? So
look at you now. Look
yeah,
at you.
Trey and Mandrell. I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the don't question. I've been on that you can ask why.
Mm-hmm.
All the learning, the critical thinking came when we could ask why and how and what. That's where the critical thinking came from.
You get a deeper understanding. Now that you know why, a lot of other knowledge branches off of that reason why. A lot of dots start to connect. You know what I'm saying? And seriously, it pays to know why.
I agree with y'all 100%. Now here's the unique thing.
You just trolling us?
No, because Scam, listen, and you know I pick on this all the time.
I don't think you know how to troll.
The young men who are struggling in these spaces and the younger men, you know, I don't know how old y'all are. Y'all might be in your 40s, but I'm talking about that 21-year-old starting out, ain't really had no woman. He ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? He just got his first job. He's trying to figure out life. He done probably been abused mentally. He thinks he's been, mentally tough. You need to get beat up in your mind if you ain't out there getting hit. And physical abuse is some of the worst you can ever do to a child. Anything done to a child, that's who need to be on the front lines. That's who need to be filling up the jails. Get everybody with some drug treatment, some help. But listen, fellas, when you have that dynamic in a home, it changes your outlook on life. Despite all the bad information you got a lot of great information. That's why you're able to move independent like you are. Now think about that young child, that young boy, that young girl who are caught up in this dynamic, because a lot of people, even, it's like, as far as going out and understanding, you have to work and have faith, and you have to pray, and you have to be your own person. You have to, get your red. It's a lot of basic stuff that our children are not getting, the young folk are not getting, just so they can be in a space at 40, 45, where they can have their home, have their car, not just, just out here just mad at people just because they say stuff, because the world is still moving. Y'all engineers, y'all go to work, y'all still trying to build. These younger folk, they missing that whole dynamic. They live in America. They're going to have to put in some work as far as within the structure building and the emotional stuff. I don't know what's going on, man, because why are we not trying to
hear me out.
Move for yourself.
Trey, hear me out. Two things. Number one, and somebody got on me about this, and I had to correct it. When you say these young people, them people, the energy. No, hold on, hear me out. People, even defective people, smell energy from 500,000 miles away. They know when you come up talking about them young people, they know you do not respect them, and you're not meeting them where they are.
Always respect them. And
hold on. The energy the message that is being delivered, I'm better than you. You people over here, they smell it from 500 miles away.
Hold up. I ain't better than nobody. You can't assume that I ain't better than
I'm just saying that's the message.
I'm not going to
being delivered. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying to all young men, the opportunity is yours. You 21, go live in the world. Go create your own life. Go be one of those Lionesses 300. Go live. Go do everything you need to do for yourself. Love the ones who love you. Treat them with respect. Wherever you go, respect the culture, respect the language, respect the narrative, respect the dress code. Whatever it is you're going to need to do to get you through the next 25, 30 years of your life, so you can get to a place where you can retire and live life and go fishing and do all that stuff you dream about and see on TV. You have to put in the work. And if you're focusing on women in relationships today, you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Go live it. It's beautiful women all over the world. Go see them. Go see them. They out there. Take advantage right now.
When you say these people, and man,
my people, me, the light skin, all the light skinned people with a big nose.
About the message that's being delivered.
Oh,
when you talk about our generation didn't have that, but your generation did, that's we people are better than y'all.
It's passion. Everybody that was born and raised in America, we all go through the same things. We still got to go out here and take advantage of our opportunities. Poor people avoiding opportunities regularly. Go do your thing, man. It's our time. It's now. We have to stand as a unit. We have to. Our time is now. I don't see my grandchildren and great-grandchildren out here regression back, because if they say history repeats itself, we're at the worst point in our social history ever. We ain't never fought this much about who did this.
We're doing it right now.
We have never. This is now. We got to stop talking about it. Go live your life. Go tell the story. Now. Listen, folks, if you younger than me, go tell your story, man. There's somebody out there for you or not. Be a conqueror. Go put your flag on the top of a mountain. Go climb a mountain. Go take a boat and sail it across the ocean. Go do something, man. Go build a house, a tree house. Just go do something and watch how your whole dynamic change. Your confidence will grow. Your money will grow. Your view on different things. You'll protect everybody. Nobody will bother you. If they do, just get you a dog, a couple of them, and make them bite anybody, break in your house. Anything, man. Just do something. We here.
Mm-hmm. So Trey, I want to honor what you're saying, but with this narrative change or whatever we want to call it, there's now people who won't even. They're going to tune us out the second we say, because this is what I think Scam is saying. That hey, be mindful that if we categorize you people, then the very people we want to talk to are going to be like, fuck you. What do you mean? It's almost like white people saying you people. Whoa, I lose everything they say after that or before that, right? So when we say youngster, there's going to be a group of people like, whoa, you're saying I'm less than, and you might, but what do you mean? So your message is spot on, Trey. I think it's spot on. Absolutely. And here's where I put the middle together. Here's where I put the two together. We know shame can lead to hurt. So we know shaming does lead to hurt. It does psychological damage. The impact does psychological damage. But do you realize that same very message will condition me? It will teach me that I can't talk back, that there's boundaries and that there are limits. I might not like what you said to me, but there are boundaries and limits. And why are those important? Because when that police officer pulls me over and I ask 10 times, what did I do? Why did you pull me over? Why did you pull me over? What did I do? And that police officer says, I already told you. Well, I've now had the skin toughened by my family, that same parent who said, it don't matter because I told you so. When I'm sitting in front of that judge who has the ultimate power, that judge who seems like, damn, they can do whatever they want. And you can ask why did I say you can speak? See, we forget those parts and we give those people sorry. But if our parent does it, then we say, they shamed us and they hurt us and they bruised us. When the judge says it, and they don't even have to say those words, they can shut the whole court down. And so I think those who experienced their parents saying, because I told you so, it might have ruffled their feathers. It might have left them sometimes confused, but it'd be that very magical moment in that courtroom. They'd be like, damn, I remember Pop said it, and the same way I practiced and lived, you got to judge. So I think there's some lessons that can be taken away from those experiences that will help them in situations where our choices are limited.
Doc, can I clear something up real quick?
Mm-hmm.
When I say you people, I'm not talking about you people in a way that's like separating from me. The people that are in those spaces, the opportunity, as long as you breathe and wake up every day, you got an opportunity to do something different and make a change in your life. Mm-hmm. And if you're a young man, young woman, this is the greatest time of your life. You don't want to be 40 years old talking about all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, who hurt you. No, take the next 20 years and go live and see the world. The United States is not going to be the same when you turn 40 and you haven't thought about getting married and buying a house. You ain't gonna be able to live in no apartments. And if you ain't trying to learn how to build a tent, if you ain't trying to learn how to build a tree house, you gonna have to figure that out.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about if you don't live your life, you feel like it ain't gonna change for you, that's fine. But if you want to get out here and see the world so you can get 50 and 60 years old, start thinking about retirement, but you got to put in the work. Just do it. Everything Scam Lady said about going out, learning all of these skills, your coping skills, your time management skills, your interview skills, your articulation skills, your writing skills, your typing skills, everything, your carpentry skills, learn those skills right now while you're young, because they're not going to come around again when you get 40 and 50. And in America, you have to work into your Social Security. Understand that first and foremost. If you're an entrepreneur, you better be making 60,000. If not, if you making 20,000, that's all you claiming. When they go pull your record, they gonna say, well, you get $500 a month. And if you can live off that, fine. You can't come live with me in my house. It ain't gonna happen. Because I'm taking all that 500. Plus you're gonna get out and go work some more. But if you don't want to be in that space, now is the greatest time. It's too much technology. Take advantage of the technology and move around in the world. Go do it. Save your money. That's all I got. That's all I'm saying. I don't separate from myself because I walk in this step. I've been there. But
I think what you're saying, is to the subscribers. So like Dust, J Speed, and people are saying like, hey, we got to keep this united as much as possible. So if we say things that put people off, Trey Ferg, what I think he's really saying is, damn if I'm trying to put someone off. What I'm saying is when the people are talking to me about what we are doing and how we are moving and this new generation and these, all you motherfuckers, listen to me. I'm trying to tell y'all, whoever's subscribing to that idea, y'all are going to, you all need to, you young, because this is my mindset. And if you're telling me we got the better technology, we got the whoever and whatever, I hear your Trey, I hear your y'all youngsters, y'all people, you people, I hear that as whoever subscribed younger than me, that's a reality. Let's keep the reality to some of this. The reality is you are younger than me. And if you're my child, you'll never catch me. Well, it doesn't matter if you're my child or not. If you're younger than me, you'll never catch me in age. If I'm disrespecting you like you dumb, young, piss in the pan, that's totally different. But when we're giving these type of messages, and I think when we offer, hey man, just be careful when we say be careful, I got it, but that's not the way I'm using it. That's not the way I'm using it. So I think both sides, one, I want to acknowledge Scam to be like, good looking out, because he's saying, keep in mind when you say it that way, you're going to lose a group. But even if I said it's nice as pie, the people, my people, those people, your people, the people, there's still going to be someone. And sometimes we got to let them people go. They'll catch us. We'll catch them on the rebound. So, all right.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to take a shot. I'm just saying what I hear and what I see it, because I see this across, I'm in the dust panels. You see me. I see the young people tuning it out, and I see this in real life when they say those words in that particular way, what it implies. We had it all together in 1972. Y'all people over there, I don't know what the hell y'all youngsters doing out there now. That it can't be delivered. If it's delivered that way, expect warfare. Just like a young person coming to you, y'all old ass, not computer using ass, cell phone, can't even look at people. See, we can do this, and y'all, it's the same thing, and it's going to be the same battle across all the dust panels. And then I got to come up and troll.
Right. And I agree with you, but in my mind, I say if only one listens, I'm good. Because if none of y'all listen, cool, but someone later is going to be like, damn, you were right. So if one of y'all hear me, cool. If one puts take it personal, if a group take it personal, that's cool. But that's really maybe a shooting a flare. For those who are using that as a, why are you shooting a flare? Did you even hear? I think Mandrell, the second I was talking about snorting, and I'm like, that's disrespect. He's like, well, you moved the goalpost. Well, I thought you were focused. You just said you were focused on that, and now you're coming at me but you just said you were. So I get it. I don't want to use that language, but if you really are here for the message, then you have to understand you fit in certain categories if you like it or not. You are part of that youngster. You are part of that old. You are part of that fat. You are part of, and I'm sorry if the language or the right word didn't land, but are you taking away the message? So I think both are right. And you know me, I'm middle of the road, but this is one of those things where I'm saying, hey, get caught up in the terms if you want, or take the knowledge. And then later we can come back to be like, you know, I didn't mean like idiot. I meant like, because I really thought that, I wouldn't even be talking to you. If I really thought you were that youngster idiot, I wouldn't even be talking to you.
That's tricky though.
It might be.
I'm
just saying, somebody coming to you being disrespectful, you're not getting 90% of the time you don't want to hear what they got to say.
Correct.
Or if it's
If they're
perceived
coming
as
to you
disrespectful.
Right.
And the goal of leadership is to be effective, not always. Effective comes before right.
Mm-hmm.
And if the message doesn't get delivered, it'll never get to where it can be right or wrong anyway.
Yep.
But I'm not taking a shot
who,
because J-Speed blasted me for a different form of doing the same thing.
Right.
And it's something I still work on.
And I think it's good for us to know and good for us to practice. But I'm also going to say not everyone has all that kind of fancy right way of saying it. And my words might not land right, but are you taking the message away? I can work on getting better with the language and the terms. But every time I say it, I want that brother to hold me accountable. I want scams to be like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to catch that. But when I'm at my sharpest and I'm using I'll work on it, but please, for now, in the middle of my flow, let me get this out, and then I can correct, because those who hear it, who really want it and ready for it, they'll know who I'm talking about. So this is that tricky part. Like, when do we correct each other? How do we support each other? How do we help each other?
Fair game.
And also, Sam, just really quick, this is my last thing. In reference to my space in trying to speak the way I speak, as far as the ages and just going out and living life. If this was 18 and under crowd, totally different. Totally different. I wouldn't dress the same. I wouldn't talk the same. It'd be totally different. I feel like I believe I'm talking to most adults here. And I can see, even from my own life, you know, around 21, 22, 25, a young man needs to get away from his scene. Unless you're working in the top tier, listen, you have to change. Regardless of what I say, what you say, anybody say, at some point, as a young African American brother in America, you have to. And I've heard most guys on this space talk about how much money they want to make, before they put in 5 years on the job. Now is the greatest time, is all I'm saying. Whether you want to do, if you want, listen, you live and die by the lifestyle you choose. You want to be a bank robber, be the best bank robber out there. Whatever you want to do, you have to figure that out. But then you got to play cat and mouse with the police. But if you want to live a life where you can go to the Super Bowl, go to the NBA game, you can travel around the world with your woman, you want to be able to pick and choose, you have to put in the work, whatever it is. If it takes you 6 months, if it takes you 2 years, by you 21 to 30 years old, 45 years old, your ass better be grinding. Kevin Simon used to say, you can't just work 8 hours. Go work 12-hour shifts, 4-5 days a week. You ain't doing nothing, pick some muscle. It's about changing as a young man. Now, if I'm talking to a teenager in high school, a totally different presentation. In this space, these are grown people. And I'm only looking to, listen, I want everybody to go. That's my mindset. But you got to put in the work too. I'm aged out. I'm 55. I'm in the middle, baby. I'm aged out. I'm retired. I ain't doing nothing. I had to put in the work.
Absolutely.
Put in the work. And anybody that want to be able to get into a space, you can do it before me, 10 years before, but you got to put in the work. I don't care. Join the military, go to college, learn a skill, learn how to drive a truck, drive 2 trucks, do whatever you got to damn do. Build some tree houses. That's a lucrative job. Do whatever. Right. That's where you are right now. Or join the military and go fight. Or stay in your car and run from none. Simple as that. I'm out.
All right.
Yeah, just understand that some of these 21 to 30-year-olds are really still in high school. I'll leave it at that.
So let me say this. At some point, though, how do we communicate with each other? Because we can actually end up wiping out each other's good intentions. So, because I've noticed, and I just invite us to look at the replay if you want to. But not now. I'm talking about check it out, because we can make points, but if when Scam was saying, well, we're doing right now what he was talking about, and then we just continue to steamroll, is like, well, who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong? So the steamroll method, does it really make us, because I heard Trey just say the same thing like 4 times in a row, but that's no one was debating if the time is right. No one was debating if the time is right. But we end up losing that because, no, you need to hear me. You need to hear me. So I'm pushing for us to be able to not cancel each other out, to actually be able to uphold what we are saying without getting the defensive route. And I'm not saying we're, because we talk a certain way doesn't mean we're being defensive. So let me clear that up. Just because we talk a certain way does not mean we're being defensive. But I hope on these shows, we can actually hear each other and then not think the other person is trying to cancel my words. That's not what we're doing. I'm just saying, hey, think about this and think about that. Anyway, for whatever that's worth. Grooming and reviews, and then Mandrell, if you want to close this out, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, my apology for hogging the mic. My apology.
Oh, you didn't hug it? No, man. No, please.
You got a big mouth.
I appreciate the apology. No need. We're in this together. Grooms.
Well, you know what I'm going to say, Doc, right?
I have an idea, but I want to.
Yeah. So, if you need a change, make the change. Change is going to be scared at first, but you may fall down. But when you fall down, make sure you fall on your back so you can see how you fell down. When you go back up, you can fix those mistakes. It's not going to fall. It's failure. Falling, when you fall, you don't fail. It's just like, I fucked up. You get up, do it again and again and again till you achieve it. Listen to people who are older, wiser, grayer, because they've been down that road. We've been there. I've been kicked more times in my bowls. I can feel it. I need an ice pack sometimes. But I still keep going. This is your journey. Make sure you write the correct journey. You get one journey. And I'll be there.
Appreciate you, brother. Mandrell.
People, I don't even know where to start. But it's a mess. But that's the human condition in this country. It's a mess. You know what I mean? People, think for yourself. You hear Dusto say it all the time. You hear me saying it. Think for yourself. And ask why. Again, if without the why, you don't actually have an answer. If you can't explain it, you don't know it. And I'll leave it at that.
Gentlemen, it's been an honor to share in this space with you. For those of you who are listening in and chatting with each other and sharing information and giving each other support, I thank you for sharing in this space with us and sharing in perspectives. There's no one right answer. I think collectively we have a perspective that helps each other. Definitely protect yourself. I think everyone would agree with that protect your mind, protect your body. Hink from the basement talks about, getting checked and taking care of your body. All of that, all of it. If you have any questions, please throw them in the chat or throw them on the replay. We appreciate that. Please do hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. BMU, thank you for allowing this space to have this conversation. CBN, thank you for doing what you do in the mods. Thank you very much. Peace, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Check out the rest of the network throughout the week. Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute. Work hard for the car, so that's why it's all tinted. Wait a minute. Had a real late night, woke up with my head spinning out in Nashville. It's been mad real. I need sunglasses, I need Advil. I like fake moves, and my cash real. I like first place, you're in last still. Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Look.
pocket, rocket in my pocket. Please don't make me pop it. All these boys just wanna copy the style. Tell them niggas stop it. Whoa, whoa. This my destiny. Feeling like Latoya, like it found me my Beyonce, and she shotgun in the cockpit. Grinding with the team, making C-notes. In my pocket still full of green, call it CeeLo. Alligator watch on me, Tim Tebow. And these haters love to watch me like Tebow. Look, I don't take L's, I just learn a lesson. Before I count the M's, always count my blessings. Look, I'm too short, never second guessing. Got some money, put up for the rain, so I'm never stressing.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simple, been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Fast lane when I pass in the street.